everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only podcast where they forget to cough right before they start talking. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morn?
I'm doing pretty good. I had my usual eternal conflict last night. We're good. We got over that. As we all do.
You faced your demons. You consulted your
Yeah,
priest, your doctor, and your god.
You look at yourself and you're like, oh, why am I still doing this? And then you move on and keep trucking. But other than that,
man, be priestly really did a number on you.
That was part of my night. To be fair. But yeah, no, I'm doing good. Good week for women's wrestling, if you saw the thumbnail. So big week for me. Terrible week for Ryan.
No.
It was right there. I'm sorry.
I know it was.
I'm not that sorry.
I knew you were building up to it, and I was like, oh darn.
But I'm doing great. I'm excited. You'll like this. So I was getting feedback about our episode last week, and they were saying, someone was supporting me on my Lee Moriarty praise, but they also said that was good redemption for your beach takes earlier in the show. And I was like, listen, I don't like the beach. He's like, I don't care. You're still wrong. I was like, all right, fair enough. But I knew you would appreciate that, Ryan, because you were also ready to take me out.
So. I told my wife,
everyone.
I told every single person. I told my wife that about your beach takes, and she turned to me and she said, "Is he doing a bit?" I was like, I don't think so. I
hate to admit it. I like to do bits. Don't get me wrong. I'll probably do
doubled
like 7
down
today.
And tripled down too much that I was like, oh no, this is real.
No,
this is real
no, sand's bad. Call
Sand
me
bad.
But yeah, no, I'm otherwise doing good. We're here. We're gonna talk some stuff. Yeah, and then we'll go away and stop talking stuff because that's how the podcast.
That's how podcasts work, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing poor. I went to the gym and I did.
Well, I didn't really hold on. I didn't really say I was doing well. I just said I'm doing okay this morning.
That's fair. That's fair. As of this moment,
so
you're doing
did
well.
The gym.
I went to the gym. You know those hip adductor machines?
Of course.
My chiropractor told me I need to be doing those machines more to help.
So you are.
So I did them for the first time in a long while. I can barely walk right now, Scotty. My inner thighs are in so much pain. I'm on Tylenol right now, and I woke up just in sheer pain. So it's rough. It's a rough one for me today. Luckily, we're sitting. That's the beauty of podcasts.
Yeah, we are
sit down for the entire breath of this thing.
The only podcast in the world where people stand the whole time is Pat McAfee's. I don't know if you've ever seen his show.
I have.
But the reason I say that is because I was flipping through the channels the other day and I saw that came up when I went by it. And I was like, man, why do you stand the whole time? That's psychotic.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has a little stool behind him and I just don't see it. I think he does. But chairs are great, man.
Do you think he has one of those kitchen mats where it's the gel mats that he gets to stand on?
He's
gotta have one of those, right?
You gotta have one of those. If you're standing for hours, you gotta. But yeah, that's I don't know why I went there, but
that's fair. That's fair. Well, we'll go here to Ring Post Radio. That's my transition. That was pretty bad.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll go there. Hold on. We have. That's a great time, Scotty, to use our soundboard. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Audience at home, of course, supporting as always. Zach Menger in the chat. Good morning, Zach. Apparently, no national whatever day today. As per
devastating.
Usual. Devastating news here from Zach. But good morning to you.
Days
and of course,
Bloody
Money 47. What a name, but. Acknowledging the passing of Tasha Nagao from All Japan Pro Wrestling. I was not going to say necessarily he passed away today because I don't entirely know because it was sort of weird, all the details and everything, but it was reported at the very least today that Tasha Nagao, 21 years old, passed away. I think he was in the dojo for All Japan for 1 year, I think it was, and then in May got hit by a tour bus, and I think for the All Japan tour bus, and since then has not obviously done well, and sadly, it's been reported today. I don't know exactly. I don't think they have a cause of death announced, and I don't exactly know if he passed away today or if it's just an announcement. But at the very least, Taishin Nagao no longer with us, 21 years old, barely in the wrestling world, but very sad thing to see and wake up to.
Yeah.
A lot
Rest
of
in
us.
peace.
Oh, go ahead, Scotty.
I was just gonna say rest in peace. Obviously, young career cut short. Always very sad. Condolences to him and his family, and really the entire wrestling world. You know, the Puro world, all Japan.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, obviously. You know, to experience, and yeah, it's just an absolute bummer.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the proper show today. Like you said, we have a lot of lady talk today, a lot of women's talk today. We're talking about the return of AJ Lee, not just to a one-off show for battling against AEW on a
Forever.
pay-per-view, but here for a multiple-year contract, reportedly. We're talking
Gotta
Stardom.
say, I saw a funny tweet today. Imagine, and I know this will cause a big ruckus when we talk about it later, but someone said, imagine if Jack Perry just shut the fuck up.
I saw that. I think I saw something.
Every
like that
time someone brings up that comment or just Jack Perry and thinking where Jack Perry is right now, it's very funny. Just like if you don't look at it from the lens of like actual sense and be like, well, there's no way Punk would still be there either way. It's just funny to think about. Continue.
Talking about Stardom to the World as well.
To the world.
We're also going to try to be previewing the Marigold Dream Star Finals, which I believe are on Saturday, I think?
Sunday. Technically Sunday, but Saturday night for us.
Yes.
So I can see the confusion.
N-1 is also beginning up, so we'll do a quick look at the blocks.
On a Monday.
I don't think I have even looked at the blocks yet. But yeah, I believe that they start
crazy,
tomorrow.
Ryan's going to analyze the entire term for free on the Count Out Podcast YouTube. That's not true. But
that's not true. It's going to be on Scotty's YouTube. I'm gonna the guy that does all the tournaments. You know, you got to cover Noah.
I don't think I could review 8 Ricky Knight Jr. matches.
I don't think you can review one. And of course, we'll see if we can try to fit in as well the AAA show that's happening as well. I believe on Friday as well. So we'll start off with AJ Lee, since that's sort of the big news item, I guess you could say, of the week. Is the return of AJ Lee. It was sort of rumored that she was going to be returning soon to the company for this WrestlePalooza event, the pay-per-view where it's the launch of ESPN, WWE rather, on ESPN, that coincidentally, accidentally, definitely fully unintentionally going head-to-head against AEW's All Out pay-per-view, along with, also
first time ever.
Also, the return of the in-ring of Brock Lesnar. But yeah, AJ Lee back in the company. Not only back in the company, but full-time, multi-year contract is what's being reported. I saw Body Slam BodySlam.net report that news, that it's a multi-year contract for AJ Lee. How old is AJ Lee? Not necessarily related, but just 38 years old.
Let me tell you something. She looks exactly the same.
Yes. She looks just as jacked.
Just as jacked. Literally, like, not a year older than when she retired. Insane. Good for her. Yeah.
Great for her.
CM Punk, on the other hand, does look older than when he came.
CM Punk's looked like he went through year after year of severe injuries and surgeries. And he's on the other side.
He kind of did.
CM Punk looks like he went through a very tragic backstage moment and had to reshift a lot of things.
He also got punched for free in the UFC. Well, not for free. He got paid a lot of money, but
yeah, too much money. So thoughts on AJ Lee? AJ Lee obviously is returning to the company. Obviously returning for that match I don't think the match is official yet, but I believe it's probably gonna be a mixed tag. Or maybe it's just a singles title against Becky Lynch.
There's only 2 matches official for WrestlePalooza.
That, of course, I believe is the John Cena Brock Lesnar match, and another one
versus Raquel.
Yes, because that's the sort of replacement from the Naomi match. So
Yeah,
we'll see what
Naomi Pig.
exactly the AJ Lee one is. I think they're teasing both, obviously, probably some sort of mixed tag thing, but then also a IC title match against Becky Lynch,
Yep.
which would be very interesting to see. I don't know if that will necessarily be WrestlePalooza, but we'll certainly find out. What are your big grand thoughts so far with the return of AJ Lee, someone that was sort of one of the first interesting standouts in the proto women's revolution age for WWE back in late 2000s, I believe. What do you think of
No,
AJ Lee?
early 2010s. Early 2010s.
Mhm.
AJ Lee was my first favorite women's wrestler. So like, she was the first person that, as a kid, 'cause I was a kid during her first run, made me really care and invest in the women's side
Mhm.
of women's wrestling, uh, which I think is something that I've really watched a lot of people kind of talk about this week. And listen, I think I was gonna have a rant on the show. I don't think I'm gonna have the rant anymore. I think I'm just gonna share my side of it because I've seen a lot of wonderful stories this week regarding once she came back of AJ Lee got a lot of people into wrestling, a lot of young women into wrestling, whether it
I would
be
agree.
WWE wrestlers currently, whether it be indie wrestlers. There were a lot of people that shared their story and love for the fact that she walked back in the door because she was really the first woman, I think, in this newer era to say, I can be one of the faces of a show. You know, like there is a conversation that in 2012, she was like a true MVP of the company. It was her and CM Punk, funny enough. It was like her, Punk, and Cena. Like those were kind of the three people that, and I know a lot of people were tuned out of WWE at the time. But for me, like that's what kept me watching were really those three. And to have her in that prominent spot name wise is I think very important. And you saw how much she meant to people in the lead up to it this week, you know. And listen, there was a lot of discourse online. We can talk about that here in a
What
second. I
discourse
know, I'm
online?
shocked. And I think there is a conversation to be had in terms of like, you know, how WWE is using her to come back to combat Mr. Lesnar and things like that.
Yep.
But I want to look at just the bright side here because for myself, I was very excited. My younger sister, I sent her just the clip of the entrance hitting, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Like it's just like one of those things where like you don't realize it because she's been, you know, AJ Lee's been gone for a decade, right? She's been out of wrestling for a decade now. But the moment she walks back in the door, you see how much she really meant to people, right? You know, that was a whole entire generation of fans who I think kind of got maybe put on to women's wrestling as a whole because of her, and then from there it was the Four Horsewoman, and then obviously, you know, everything
Bob's your
else that's
uncle.
happened.
Evolution is a mystery.
Right, of course.
And we just keep
And
going.
everything that's happened in America since then when it comes to women's wrestling, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to point to AJ Lee as one of the first people to really help drive that home in this new era, right? You know, people talk about like WWE always give credit to Stephanie McMahon. And I always had said this. I was like, no, if you're gonna give credit to someone pre actual women's evolution, you're gonna give it to AJ Lee.
Yeah.
And the you know, and I think you do have to give, and people joke about this, but you do have to give credit to like the Bellas and that Total Divas show and what that
Mhm.
created for a lot of people. So yeah, just seeing the entrance, seeing her return, seeing the pop, it was very, very cool. And like I've watched the video a few times. It's just like it is one of those surreal things. Like for myself and for others, I don't think there's many nostalgia pops left, right? Like it was Punk forever,
Yeah. Famously.
and then you know, and then he did his, and after that, it's like, okay, I guess, AJ Lee was kind of left in terms of my personal, like, oh, that would be really cool to see. Like, that made me watch SmackDown Live. I haven't watched SmackDown period since, like, don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know, and I don't really care to know. Or at least, like, without watching a clip online, that's a little different.
Sure.
But it was really, really, really cool. So I just want to, like, share that positive side of things. I've talked to a lot of people that also don't have the connection to AJ Lee. If you weren't a fan of or watching WWE during that time, you were literally going to be like, "What is going on?" Well, and that was a lot of discussion this week. Was a lot of people not understanding why so many people loved what she brought to the table and who she was and the importance of her. But I think a lot of wrestlers themselves have told you how important she is. Whether she comes back and wrestles poorly or great, it doesn't matter because her impact was felt literally in the one moment. Taking WWE out of it and just looking at the wrestling aspect and seeing so many young women's wrestlers being like, "That's why I'm here. That's why I got into this."
Yeah.
She made me believe I could. I think that's always such an important aspect of this that maybe is super overlooked until it actually happens.
Yeah, I look, I totally agree with you. Is that like back in those early NXT days of the reality show,
Yeah.
and back in those just days, generally speaking, I think it was like Jim Valley on social media posted something to this effect of like, back in those days, especially obviously in regards to like the women's division, people were almost just like looking for crumbs of
Yep.
something of quality, just something that was like,
Yeah.
give me something interesting, something I can attach to, any sort of aspect. And it didn't necessarily have to be, quote unquote great. It was just sort of like this
Yeah.
was the best for what it was. And typically it was like a
Mhm.
personality type or a look
Sure.
or something like that. AJ Lee was like the first person in the women's division at that in that modern sense of or super modern sense, I guess, of someone that like the attraction to it was the wrestling. And granted, the attraction to it also was that she would make out with every single wrestler under the sun, but disregarding that, um that was that was not meant to be a vocal break, and it worked out perfectly there. um Disregarding that, she was somebody that I think attracted a lot of audience people because she was one of the first like people that was just like, oh no, this is like she's a pretty good wrestler. There's
Yeah.
something here. I can be associated with this.
She made the 5-minute matches because for a lot of her
Mhm,
run, it still
mhm.
was they weren't going long, but she made those interesting,
Exactly.
which is a talent in itself.
Exactly. And I think that like look, this is I think a very interesting moment to bring her back. Because you also have to remember it's like look, she left WWE, she practically retired from wrestling, and you mentioned how like the sort of nostalgia
She did
pop.
have injuries too, worth
She
noting
did have injuries as
at one
well, but you
point.
mentioned sort of like the nostalgia positive of everything. It's like, look,
Yeah.
she is obviously CM Punk's husband, and at the same time, the whole relationship with CM Punk was destroyed. The whole classic thing of like, I got fired on my wedding day. Well, it was also
Yeah.
AJ
It went
Lee's
hand in
wedding day
hand.
that her husband
Yeah.
got fired. This sort of thing of like, it's the same sort of cold day in hell when Punk returns to WWE from Summer Survivor Series a couple years ago, of just
Yeah.
like you don't necessarily think of it happening, but once Punk
Mhm.
came back to the company, and not just come back in the company, I think came back in wrestling, it opened up the door of like, okay, when
Yeah.
then AJ Lee is happening.
Right.
Obviously, she got involved with women's wrestling a couple years ago, and I was
Yep.
an executive producer of
That
that
was
for I
seemed
think
like
2 years.
dipping of the toe
There was
for her.
also she did like an episode of Heels that Punk was
Yep.
on. So there was toes being dipped for sure. I think it was just a matter of time. And obviously,
Yeah.
yes, you can talk about like, if the AEW stuff figured out, it would have happened there. I think it was just a
Sure.
matter of when, not
Yeah.
if.
Yeah. And I'll say this, she is someone who I know has, like, kept very busy post wrestling. It's not like she just, like,
She wrote a
was chilling at
best-selling
home.
book.
Yeah, she wrote a best-selling book that I've read some of, a very good book if you wanna just, like, learn about who she is, and
Mhm.
I if you read the book, it's actually shocking she left wrestling, like, because of how much she loved it. But again, things happen. Um, I think she did like comics and stuff too. Like she did a
I think
lot
so.
of like different things. I think she's been like part of like movies and stuff and
Let's
like
see.
writing movies, or she's a writer
Yeah.
in full force. So again, like it's not like she left and was not successful, and everyone comes back for the money, but it's not like she needed to, her, and she's been out of it for so long, and she's probably enjoyed whatever she's done. Um, and like you said, best-selling book and things like that. So that's part of it too. I think that's always an important part to like know what was she doing the past 10 years. And it's like living a pretty interesting life, quite frankly, that
Hmm.
had nothing to do with wrestling. Got her out of the spotlight in terms of like, you know, she was seen once in a while, and that was that. And I think like for her, that was probably a good thing after being, in the spotlight. I think that's the one other thing I wanted to say is like for me, she is the first women's wrestler or let me rephrase, she is the first non like and this is not a mean comment, but she's the first like non-diva to really be emphasized and pushed on American wrestling television when I was watching,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, and I think that also is, and when I say non-diva is like, the
Yeah.
diva,
The
total
the
divas
tomboy
aspect.
aesthetic compared
Right,
to
right.
the
Like,
play
yeah.
girl, playboy, cover girls
Yeah,
that
sure,
typically
and
would be in the roster.
yeah, and she, that kind of led to her feuds and stuff, and
Mhm. That
obviously her promo that's very famous.
that also,
Uh,
like, led
yeah,
to, like,
the
Paige
Give Divas a
era,
Chance thing, by the way.
passing the baton to Paige,
Yeah.
as the anti-diva.
Her promo to the Total Divas crew helped lead to the Give Divas a Chance thing that obviously led to the Women's Revolution in WWE. We have to say in WWE because they will tell you it's in all of wrestling. That is not true. In WWE specifically, and helped grow. So I think that's always a fun part to point out. But my whole point was like she left wrestling and she was successful outside of wrestling.
Yeah,
Now she
very
comes back.
successful.
She wants to team with her husband. That's cool. I got no problem with that. She probably wants to like, let's see how this goes. Um,
I'll say a multi-year contract is interesting, though.
Stunning. I I think the biggest shock to me wasn't like the reaction or anything. That was all expected.
Mhm.
It was she signed a multi-year full-time contract that was like, huh?
Yeah.
Come again? I was expecting maybe like two matches, one tag and then the Becky match, and then maybe we'll come back down the line.
Yeah, maybe we'll do an extension. Like maybe like, oh, let's put the
Right.
title on her. Let's do an contract extension, and then we'll move on from
Yep.
there. It's like, oh no, she's here for at least 2 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
That,
that
yeah.
that is kind of baffling in a weird way to me. Not
Which
saying anything away from her, but it's just sort of like, really, okay.
yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna
and
say
again,
no.
give her credit. Like she's ripped out of her mind. She seems very ready to do this.
Hmm.
I think she just based on the very limited physicality that her and Becky had, like it was very simple, but it was very strong. Like it just kind of it was like she kind of just walked from where she was 10 years ago and was like, all right, we're right back here.
Yeah,
Um, I'm still just like I'm more in awe of the continuous stories and love about it. Not because it's shocking, but just because like that's nice to see in wrestling. We're gonna have our talk about WWE as a whole here in a second, and the downside of everything that comes with this company. But I will continuously
all right.
raise up the positivity that is AJ Lee
Hmm.
because I do think there's a lot of positivity there, and the importance of her involvement in women's wrestling in America should not be overlooked. Which I think in the lead up to the moment was heavily overlooked by some
Agreed.
and heavily questioned by some, and that was like the most frustrating part of the week. It's like I don't know, I don't see why we need to talk down AJ Lee. You can talk down WWE, that's
Sure,
fine.
and we
We do
will.
it all the time. We will. But talking down the woman herself, I did not like that this week.
Yeah, look, and I think also like part of it is just like there is a segment of the audience that came in on the Peacock deal and have no idea who this woman is, have never probably
They were not there in Chicago.
vaguely have an idea of, maybe they like vaguely have an idea of who
Sure.
she is, as like Punk's wife.
Yeah, because Punk said her name a few times since he's come
Yeah,
back.
but there's definitely like no. I would say that there's a good portion of the audience that have 100% never seen her wrestle once.
Oh, yeah.
And that is
Probably a lot of people that complained about it this week have also probably not that I'm saying you have to go back and watch those matches. You're not gonna go back and watch most of them and be like, wow, that was 5 stars. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of them were still, 10 minutes or
Yeah.
less.
And in the same breath, it's like I don't think you or I would necessarily say like AJ Lee is like a Hall of Famer sort of thing. It's like, yeah, she was a really solid wrestler, but she obviously wasn't sort of draw for that company in terms of what that company was and where women's division was. But she is significant in the sense of what we're detailing, which is that sort of proto women's revolution starter. That without that, you know, I maybe something could have happened, but you can certainly, I think, point to AJ Lee and people like Caitlyn as well, who's kind
Yeah.
of pointing there. Naomi, if you want to give
Right.
that as well. I don't know if I would, but I would. AJ Lee certainly, and then you get to Paige and a little bit
Yeah.
more of like
She
the four horsewoman, and that's sort of where the ball starts rolling.
she was all over Monday Night Raw for about a good 3 years there.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
always on it. So I'm not gonna go back and tell you what the hell the views were back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
I don't care. But she was featured for a reason.
She
I
was
think that's always
and
the
featured
most important thing.
separately from the women's roster. Like she was there, but
Yeah.
she was consistent storylines with John Cena at the
Right,
time.
right. She was always in big stuff, and then, she had her long women's title reign and so on and so forth, and that, like you said, that helped introduce Paige and all these different things.
Yeah.
So I do think that's important. I don't have anything to say in terms of like talking about draws. I do think like when it comes to like wording of like what is she, I know this is a very extreme word, but in terms of the women's evolution in WWE, she is a pioneer for that.
Yeah. Yes, I would
I
agree.
think that's the best thing to call her. And I think that's again a lot of the love that you saw and support of her when she showed up is because of that.
Yeah.
So that's always cool. But yeah,
I think
there is the other side, obviously, with it
I
comes
think
along.
there's two other sides for me personally, and I'll bring up this comment from Twain Mac in the comments, and it's not this one, but I will shout this one out. My only problem is she dropped the Chuck Taylors for Vans. That's a very funny bit.
I did think about that. I'm not kidding. I did see that because her promo it does include talking about Chuck Taylors, and I was like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, she doesn't even have Chuck Taylors on.
What the heck? And to be fair to her, I feel like Chuck Taylors have like sort of diminished in terms of pop
No,
culture a
no,
little bit.
yeah, she's growing with the times. I get it. Vans are very popular. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Mhm. But the comment here is, I remember when Caitlyn broke her in half of a spear. AJ is
Yes.
registering and bump fool, and that was also a big charm of AJ Lee at the time, is the sheer amount of bumps that she was willing to take.
Yeah.
That I think leads me to the first concern.
Including the one when Biggie absolutely lit her up on accident.
Bah! The sort of AJ Lee specific concern, and before we move on to the broader WWE of it all, is that look, she is 38 years old. She's much older. It's been like what, a decade since she was here.
Yep.
She, like you
Decades
said,
since
she
she's wrestled.
retired. She retired with injuries. I don't
I
remember
think
exactly.
neck.
I think it was neck. Yes, so probably for all the bumping. Um,
She always
ain't
landed on her neck.
so it's a question of like what physically she looks
Yeah.
great. Obviously,
Yep.
a lot of older wrestlers look great. What physically will she be able to do? And that's the
Mhm.
question. And not only that, Scotty, but
Especially now that she's full-time multi-year contract. Had it
exactly.
been 2 matches, I don't think anyone would, like, make that question, be like, "Yeah, go out there, do your
Hmm.
bump, do your bits, and"
Yeah,
but now it's definitely a
exactly.
question to be asked.
And not only that, and I think a sort of broadening of that scope just a little bit to the entire roster, the women's division, since she has been here, has elevated significantly.
Right.
How will she was able to stand out because she was in a women's division or in a divas division at the time that just wasn't known for its wrestling, let's
Right.
say, and it's in the
Yeah.
kindest words. Excuse
It
me, I'm
wasn't
coughing,
given
but
time either
that was a
to
big part of
even,
it.
like
So
yeah.
what will someone that was a solid wrestler for an era of women's wrestling that was not great. Do in an era where women's wrestling is in a way better spot. And at the same time, recovered seemingly from her injuries and is probably a decade older. Um, how will she stand comparative to all these other women? I think that is a totally fair question to ask here. Is
Yeah.
look, how is she going to be out there?
Yep.
And that's why I sort of think like the first match could be a mixed tag because you could do that sort of hiding and ease her into the singles match a little bit.
Smart.
But it's sort of like, how is this going to work for her?
Yeah.
Is she going to be bumping
Yeah.
around like crazy? I wouldn't. If I'm 38
No
and I have previous neck injuries, I wouldn't be bumping around like that. But that was kind of her thing too. So,
yeah.
I'm going to ask Kota Ibushi to not take bumps
Right.
on the
I
forehead.
mean, she doesn't look a day over like 30. So the
Yeah.
fact she's 38 is like crazy to just think out loud. I think the question you're asking is one that she's probably most excited to answer herself.
I would agree with you.
That's why she's doing this, right? She probably sees the landscape and says, I was pretty cool, like not wrestling anymore. I kind of, she kind of seemingly was happy to accept that life, so many times through the years, especially when Punk first came back, at AEW, the question was like, oh, is she going to come back? And he would be like, nah, she's pretty happy just not wrestling. But we are at a time here where she's going to see herself across the ring from someone both you and me heavily respect in Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Right? That is as good a start and as good a challenge as any. Right? But here's the thing. Becky's not an overly athletic wrestler. She's never been that, but she's a smart wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why she's the perfect first opponent for an AJ Lee, who is now going to test herself in presumably, of course, the mixed tag, but then an eventual big time singles that's going to feel really big.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see. Like, I think the question is, we will see, because that's probably exactly the same question for her. I know Punk has talked about in the past, like she's been in the ring with him for training and stuff. So it's not like she just like is going in cold turkey. Like I haven't touched the ring in, literally a decade. She's continuously, I know she did wrestling training with heels, and then she's done some of it since he's come back.
I feel like she was also partly a coach, maybe for WoW.
Yeah, she was a helpful. She just said she would never wrestle at the time, which is, again, part of the aspect here. But like
I just see executive producer, so maybe she
that
did other things. But
that question that you're asking is 50% of the excitement of the AJ Lee return is what will this look like? Can she have a great match against a Becky Lynch? Can she have a great match against a Bayley? Her and Roxanne, like that's Roxanne posted like 7 photos. Roxanne has photos dressed as every wrestler that's currently in this company, by the way. Absolutely insane. Just think about, but then you remember she's like 22. But like, that's an exciting matchup for her, right? Because they're both smaller wrestlers, so they'll be able to, work with each other really well. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what kind of matches she's going to have. I don't think she probably knows either. But for her, or honestly, for fans of WWE and fans of AJ Lee, they're probably just too happy to have the question asked at this point of the right. Like, we could have just never asked the question and moved on. And honestly, for a long time, really until this week, I didn't really think AJ Lee was ever coming back, because I was like, why would she? There's no reason. She's successful everywhere else. But it's a good question to ask, because it's probably, in terms of her, the most important one to ask. I don't think she can hurt like what she meant to people by any means. If anything, it's going to be like, as long as she doesn't look bad, it's a win, probably.
I agree.
And we'll see.
And Twain Mac puts up a great counterpoint, of course, which I was going to bring up. I think the lighter schedule with damn near no house shows will benefit her. I think immensely it's going to benefit her, because that's
way more than the young.
That's the sort of like up the issue with these sort of press releases of like she signed a multi-year contract is like,
Yeah.
yeah, but like Roman Reigns is on a multi-year contract and he wrestles 6
Right.
times a year. You know, how
Yeah,
what
I'm
are the
sure
dates?
she's on a Punk deal, truthfully, which
Exactly.
he's around a lot, but doesn't wrestle a ton.
Yeah. Is she going to wrestle on TV a decent
Right.
amount during the month?
Right.
Is she? I assume she will try to probably be on a
Is she
pay-per-view.
ever going to wrestle on TV?
Is she ever going to wrestle on TV? Is
Yeah.
a great counter question. It is the sort of thing of like we don't know how this will be, what it will shape out, and it's gonna be, and the questions will be answered, Scotty, at WWE WrestlePalooza,
Uh,
which of course is countering AEW All Out.
So to bring us into that conversation, there's a reason they did this for this show. Obviously, it's the ESPN thing. First, we're trying to load up this show.
Yeah.
Because it's the first time on ESPN. We want to have a good number. We want to bring as many people in as possible. That's also why the other guy is on here that we are going to heavily talk about.
Was just real quickly, was WrestleMania the first Peacock show?
Was WrestleMania?
Or was it Royal Rumble?
I think it was Royal Rumble. I don't know. That was so long ago.
Yeah. Or was it Roadblock
the first? Because I remember the first WWE Network show was WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
I remember that. They tried. Well, it was actually like NXT or something, but you get the point.
I'll see if I can
test it. Yeah, I mean,
Fastlane, March 21st, 2021.
Oh, so it's going into WrestleMania. Okay,
yes.
That makes sense. But this one, it's on ESPN. It's on this new ESPN thing.
You'll be able to watch it and pay for it in some capacity.
Yeah, I have no clue. Haven't even thought about trying to watch it because I'll just find it one way or the other. As we all do. But like, I'm not paying $30 a month to watch.
I'm not saying to do anything illegal. I'm just saying I think it is morally just and right to
yeah, with who's on the show, absolutely. But the idea of this, right, is there's a lot of different avenues of how WWE is attacking this show.
Yeah.
Right.
And by this show, you mean AEW All Out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes and no. Like there's two. This show is happening for two reasons. To counter program All Out. We are not going to act like that's not true because we know it is true. This pay-per-view kind of came out of nowhere. The idea was probably ESPN was like, we'll give you a special show to kick things off.
Mm-hmm.
And you picked the date. And they were like, oh, we got a date for you.
Get those hands together. Yeah, baby, we got an idea.
One of those things of double checking. There's no football. There's no UFC. All right, this is the date. Plus, the AEW aspect. So there's that. There's also the ideas of trying to bring as many eyes to the show as possible.
Yep.
And there's the idea of trying to keep everyone happy.
Yes.
And
or
that's
happy
why
enough, and to counterbalance the disappointingness.
Right. That is why you're having two very noteworthy returns. One that is heavily celebrated and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And the other that is absolutely disgusting and disgraceful. That is what this show is. That is what they're doing on this show. And that's how they're trying to get people to fully invest in this show is, oh, you're upset about Brock, but AJ Lee's here.
No, look,
and it's
they're trying to punch me in the face and then after doing so, give me a piece of candy.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not trying to punch you in the face. They are punching.
They are punching you in the face.
They are successfully punching you in the face. And
if I'm a WWE fan, I'm happy that I'm getting candy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like WWE fans aren't going to waver. Like WWE diehard fans aren't going to waver. They're loading up this show. On paper, it's probably going to be their strongest show of the year in terms of, I think Cody's going to defend the title, they've said.
Mm-hmm.
Big mixed tag match, Io versus Stephanie Vaquer, John Cena.
I think the only thing that would be rivaling it is like the Cena retirement show, and even that's like a Saturday Night's Main Event on Peacock.
Right. Like John Cena.
Who cares about that?
John Cena in a big match. NBC does not. John Cena's in a big match, right? Like this is giving you everything you want.
Mm-hmm.
You just also have to watch Brock Lesnar. And I'll tell you this. So I read that Cena and Sami Zayn were wrestling on SmackDown. So I was like, oh, I'll watch it. And they both did a double down after Super AA. And I said, oh, I can shut it off now because I know it's coming. Uh, and I was like, oh, well, nailed that one. So I didn't see that, bitch. But yeah, like everything they're doing right now is clear. You may not like us for this, but here's AJ Lee. They literally just did it on SmackDown.
Yes.
They didn't have to wait till WrestlePalooza to do it. They waited to do it this past Friday on SmackDown. And
they're weirdly counter programming themselves. You know what I mean?
They are. Like here's my overall take. I think my look at it is in the WWE versus AEW really aspect that's been going on all week, because I do think there's been a lot of people talking down AJ Lee, especially from the AEW fandom side.
I think it's weird. I think that's crazy.
That's the craziest part to me. It's like you could talk down the idea of the WrestlePalooza aspect and whatnot, and the fact that they're using AJ Lee to counter produce the Brock Lesnar aspect of this.
I will push back on that point. They're using Brock to counter the AEW All Out.
Yes.
They're using AJ Lee to counter Brock.
Yes. So you can attack that. You know, I don't know if there's literally any reason to bring in AJ Lee outside of she is CM Punk's wife. So that probably isn't helping the case.
Which, also, to be fair, I'll just point out, it kind of sucks that, like, that's the context. Like, obviously, I think it's important because she's been brought up in regards to CM Punk, and it's just sort of like the thing of like, she's this big star. AJ Lee is back, and she's back as to a lot of fans, especially newer fans, she is back as Punk's wife. You know?
Yeah, which is crazy because like I don't think I've once thought about her as that way.
Me neither.
And I still don't really, because like I watched the pop, I was like, it's a pretty big pop for just his wife, the way they're selling this angle. No, she's bigger than just being Punk's wife, and I think we're seeing that in real time. But like that's the discussion here, is right. It's like the AEW versus WWE aspect. I think this week a lot of people took out their anger on the WrestlePalooza versus All Out thing on the wrong person.
Yeah,
there was literally no reason for it to be on AJ Lee.
Yeah, I agree. And
you think she gives a shit about All Out?
Maybe, I don't know. Well, I wonder what her take on AEW is.
I would be truthfully would be fascinating. I'd like to hear her literally say any words. We haven't really got that. You know, that's true. That's the interesting aspect of this. You know, she's been gone for 10 years and she's really not acknowledged professional wrestling outside of WoW at all. Right? Like she doesn't do public appearances where people are walking up to her to ask her about CM Punk and WWE and AEW, right? She did Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con for like whatever story or movie she was part of at like this year. Did you see a video pop up of like AJ Lee talks about a potential return? No, because that's not what she became known for anymore in that field.
Yeah, Punk was that lightning rod for them to
right. Absolutely. So like, yeah, I think a lot of the anger and hate came out at the wrong points for the wrong person. Now you can attack WWE, you can attack Brock Lesnar, we all should, for that entire thing. But you know, and I think the interesting follow up to that is obviously All Out got moved time wise this week.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. I saw a lot of pushback. I think like Brian Alvarez was like, "Oh, this is bad. They blinked, and now WWE is going to go even harder." I was like, "Well, I think WWE's kind of been going hard all year." On this sort of
I don't. For me,
I think AEW for me is this thing of they moved it earlier because they are going to probably do a super long show again, like All In. That's my read.
Well, that's factual. For me, and I want to ask you this, obviously, as the AEW correspondent here. I always thought moving it was good, not because you're blinking, but because you're getting the edge early on. Like, why go head to head and be a Eric Bischoff loser and lose rather than just do your own thing,
Mhm.
have the better show, and be the talk of it going into it. Like,
Yeah,
there is no outside of like, oh, WWE can move their shows on. Like, they're gonna do it either way. Whether
correct.
you stayed at this exact time or you moved to 3 o'clock so more people who may want to watch both can watch your show first.
Sure.
This is just like the only thing this sucks for is the people that are going to be at the show, right?
Sure.
Because like moving that on them, maybe their plans are now messed up because it's
I
like,
gotta
oh,
move my
this show's
flights around, move all
right.
this
The
stuff
show's
around.
now 5 hours earlier. Like, that's a big change. I think that is who this sucks for.
Yeah.
But for fans watching at home, for me and you, who I like a nice afternoon show personally,
Mhm.
for fans around the world, this is a great thing. And for AEW, it's we are having our own time. And guess what? Our main event is going to go into their first match and their second match because we do want to counter program a little bit with our big things.
Yeah.
But we don't need to do head to head the entire time, nor should you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is one of those things where um, there is an argument to starting first, so that if people switch, you are giving them the, like, if they time it out right, you could be like, we're heading into the main event when WrestlePalooza is starting. And you've watched an entire show. There isn't what is it, the sunk cost fallacy, where it's like, I've
Yeah.
invested so much time or money into something
Mm-hmm.
that it's like, well, I'm just going to keep watching. It's like,
Yeah.
if you go long enough, which AEW tends to do on these pay-per-views, then you might butt up against WrestlePalooza with your semi-main, your main event,
When
and it's
does
going to be interesting
WrestlePalooza
enough
start?
where it's like, oh, great, I'm interested in watching this match. And look,
Yeah.
there's a degree to, there's the thing of like, oh, they blinked and then they move. But I think at the same time, it's like, look, it worked for Wembley. And granted, Wembley was also an earlier start time because of it was in London, right? Or not
Yeah.
Wembley.
I know what
Uh,
you mean.
all in Texas. They did it for All in Texas because it was a big time show, right? It might work again. You don't know unless you do it, and it might be something that works out well for you. If it works out, because if we all recall, All in Texas did massive pay-per-view numbers for them.
Yeah.
So it is a
And I
question
think
of,
All Out's going to as well.
I think there's a good chance as well. I mean, look, at the same breath, it's also one of these things of, it is a certain gamble. You may be playing it safe by moving, because at the same time, look, what All in Texas was going up against was Saturday night's main event on Peacock and cable,
Yeah.
or rather broadcast television, cable. I think it's cable. And I always get the two confused. And Goldberg's retirement, right? And here you're going up against a proper pay per view, the debut of the ESPN platform, and
Right. It's a
Brock
big
and
show.
AJ Lee.
It's not just Saturday night's main event. It's a big
It's
show.
a bigger show. WWE is loading up more for this because
Right.
they thought they could do an active. They thought with Saturday night's main event they can hurt All in Texas. They failed, right? They did not.
Mhm.
They did not achieve what they were trying to do. They think they can do it again with a bigger show. So to protect yourself,
A
you're
real
moving a
show.
little bit. You're getting a little defensive.
Yeah.
Do you always have in these sort of games? Do you always have to be aggressive and go butt up against each other? No. Whoever's the secondary promotion in a lot of people's eyes, which is AEW, is going to be
Always
hurt.
loses. Yeah.
Yes, it
Like,
makes sense for them to move a little bit and shift and
I
maybe play into that sunk cost fallacy where, hey, look, it's a semi-main event. Moxley and Darby are coming out for a coffin match. Do you really want to switch and go see WrestlePalooza for $30 maybe on this platform? Or do you just want to, you
right.
already paid for this pay-per-view, why not you just stay and watch the other thing later?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes our jobs easier. We can cover both.
Mhm.
But I think the other thing is, and I've always thought this. I know like a lot of people are like, oh, WWE got their way. It's like, I don't know. If I'm WWE, I'm kind of pissed that like we
Yeah.
did all this and you moved. How
Yes.
dare you? Like
I
we wanted
agree.
to take you out. Like
That's
I
a
think there's
great-
a real
That's a great point.
like come on. Like we wanted to counter program you and you switched on us. Like, I don't know, that would piss me off. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like
It's you can't counter program if you're not actually counter programming against somebody. You're just taking up.
right.
You're just after them.
Yeah, you're just making my day of watching wrestling way too long. That's all you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
and is that going to then become an idea of like, oh, too much wrestling in one
yeah.
day? A fan's not going to want to do this sort of
Well,
thing.
then you're gonna watch the first one
Then most fans are probably gonna be like, then I'll
and
just
go
watch
out for
the
the
first
night.
one, or
Yeah,
whatever,
like
or I'll end up watching both. And
yeah,
for AEW, that means another pay per view sale where they make more
right.
money.
Like here's the other thing. If you're an AEW fan, you're gonna watch All Out. If you're a WWE fan, you're gonna watch WrestlePalooza. None of this matters.
Yes.
Like
And if you're in
at the end of the
between, and really, I guess that's the question, right? Is they are fighting for people like us, the in
yeah,
betweeners that are going to watch both.
right.
And I don't want to watch WrestlePalooza, but we have to watch WrestlePalooza because it's the first thing on ESPN, and we have to see what it looks like.
If Lesnar wasn't on WrestlePalooza, I'd be excited for WrestlePalooza.
Probably, yeah. I would
Based
probably
on
agree.
like the
Look,
two matches that I'm thinking about, you know.
Sky Stephanie Vaquer does a lot for me, baby.
Yeah, exactly. That does a lot of the heavy lifting, folks.
Exactly. So it's the sort of thing of it is they went to counter program AEW to hurt them significantly. And I do
Yeah.
and that is also the variable here that no one knows
Mhm.
is how much could it hurt AEW
Yeah.
if it was a true counter program. We saw obviously what it did with Peacock. A thing we didn't bring up when the ESPN stuff got announced, Scotty, and I've been thinking about this all week, is with the Peacock streaming deal, I've always been under this feeling that that was the first trigger that brought in a new boom period for the WWE was going to Peacock. Was $9.99 a month or whatever it was for Peacock, $14.99. I guess it depends on the tier, and being more readily available for average people, and go onto this new streaming platform for Peacock. And it was good for Peacock, obviously. They're doing the same sort of thing with ESPN where we have a new service, and we're hoping that just like it did with Peacock, it can help establish ESPN Plus in the marketplace. The question is now you have a heavier price tag on here and a weirdly more confusing rollout. So I kind of wonders like, look, I think it will create maybe some sort of boom period and maybe go to a different kind of audience for WWE.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will work though, because this audience is going to be more sports based than the entertainment of Peacock.
That-
But it is something that it could have effect, but I can also see it not necessarily having the effect, the desired effect that WWE wants.
You know what? I this is actually something I've thought about a little bit with going to ESPN that I wish I brought up when they originally announced it. And it's something I talked about when they went to Fox initially, and it did not happen, but that was Vince run at the beginning.
Sure.
Maybe a lot more emphasis on the matches and sports space when they have shows on there. You know, like
Sure.
you put Io and Stephanie Vaquer on there, you're telling me you're going out for a big time match, right? Like that is a big time match, no comedic aspect there, right? That is those two are gonna crush it. No matter what we have to say about Lesnar, obviously his sports-based background speaks for itself,
The
and
connection with UFC,
such.
which
Right.
leaving ESPN.
Yep. Like those two matches kind of go hand in hand of like, this is us giving the sports or the wrestling more focus. That's also saying this is Lesnar's not been out for 2 years and who knows how. Hopefully it looks like dog shit. But I also want to say this.
I doubt Brock is going to look like dog shit.
He's not going to look like dog shit. He's probably going to. No, he's not.
How old is Brock?
He's old now, but he looks the same. Like I saw
48 years old. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it. He's looked the same for the past decade and a half. A specimen of a human being, and a awful one at that. But I also want to say this, Ryan, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Is WWE, counter program AEW is a good thing, and you know why?
Why is that?
Look at this All Out card. They made Tony Khan say like, shit, all right, fuck you guys, I'm putting together a classic. Like he even brought Riho back.
Look, the real ratings draw of AEW.
Like, we only bring Riho back for special occasions. You
Mhm.
know, like
Mhm.
this is a special occasion. So you have Mercedes Moné versus Riho. That's gonna rule. You
Yeah.
have I don't like MJF, but MJF versus Mark Briscoe in a stipulation match of Mark Briscoe's choosing tells me it's probably going to be way better than any MJF match has been in a long time.
Sure.
Dog collar is definitely going to be dog collar.
Even better. Great.
You have a coffin match between John Moxley and Darby Allin. They're going to kill each other.
Yeah.
You have Hangman Page versus Kyle Fletcher. I just read.
I'm not seeing on Cage Match, but I believe that's the build currently. I think it actually got maybe announced on Collision last night.
I don't know.
By the way, we thought that would be like for the Australia show, and they're just like, "Oh, we'll do it next." I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine."
Yeah, like you and me talked about that as like, "Oh, that would be a great world title match," and they're just like, "Oh, that's our next world title match." Okay, I'm in. Like that card's exciting. You also have the women's title match, which is a little bit of a letdown because of I don't know how that came together.
But 4 women that are all going to go out there and kill each other, I think.
Yeah, for sure, it's going to be good. I just wish like more. I wish Chris just had more pathway, but it's fine.
Look, I'll give it to Adam Copeland, Christian Cage versus FTR.
That'll be big. It'll be hot.
I think it'll be hot. It's obviously in Toronto, so it's gonna be hot for Christian and Cope. I think as well, it's like FTR is a better duo than Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus.
Oh, for sure. It'll probably be really good. I will say this though. Seeing like AEW fans, talk down AJ Lee and be like, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and then be like,
look,
point that match graphic.
Look, that's the thing that always confuses me about that sort of stuff. It's not AJ Lee's fault for getting offered the contract and saying, it's not her fault. Triple H's entire WWE booking strategy has always been, and NXT was not about nostalgia, but it was about bringing in pops, bringing in people from Ring of Honor practically, and New Japan, and bringing them in to pop up on the show. Here, he's doing it with nostalgia pops.
Calling AJ Lee, by the way, nostalgia is very funny.
It's been a decade.
Yeah, I know. It's just like compared to Edge and Christian, like they're prehistoric, and she's young.
It is this thing of it is not her fault for getting offered the multi-year contract for however much money.
I just think like the nostalgia thing that people get angry about all the time is so stupid. It's like every wrestling company in the history of wrestling.
Does that bring us into the Taz debate this week?
Well, AEW selling an ECW t-shirt. Like that is nostalgia, okay? Like it's fine. Who cares? Like nostalgia is just part of the gig.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
whatever
draws,
competition is
the kind of thing with wrestling is whatever draws is what we're going to do.
Whatever sells, whatever sells, you're going to do it. So at the end and nostalgia in pro wrestling especially sells a lot. It always has and always will. It's why there's 1,700 ECW revivals in TNA alone, buddy. Come on, like who gives a shit about it? It's why Bully Ray still has a job for some reason. Come on, if we want to talk about nostalgia, even the worst get nostalgia. So let's let the exciting nostalgia of AJ Lee get
Scotty. John Cena's match with Sami Zayn and even Logan Paul were both filled with nostalgia of doing his finishers.
Buddy, I watched John Cena hit a GTS on Sami Zayn. Did I pop? I sure did.
And that's crazy, Scotty, because I don't think John Cena wrestled Kenta once.
That's true. That was a crazy match, though. Imagine.
Can you imagine the peak?
Why don't we do it right now?
Kenta powers
for the GHC heavyweight title.
I hope he retires from WWE and then he just does a global tour and just pops up like Tetsuya Naito in every promotion.
He's actually Tanahashi's retirement match.
Fine, good. I'm sure. I'm down.
Please,
I beg you, John. Please, I beg you.
I think that's that's the other thing. Like the nostalgia thing this week was the other discussion point I had to bring up. It's like, why does this always bother people? Every company in the like, are you telling me teasing Young Bucks and Golden Lovers isn't nostalgia? Like it is. Are you telling me that Hangman and
Doing,
Kenny being together again isn't nostalgia?
you're telling me
That's
the main
what
event of
wrestling is.
Dynamite, where the four of them look at each other, isn't like a callback, which is ultimately nostalgic in its very
Yeah,
nature of a
to
callback
the first year of this company.
to also pre-pandemic days, the beauty,
Right.
the beauty,
Like
the revolution.
it's fine. You know why? Because it fucking rules most of the time. So who gives a shit? Unless
It's the
piece of
thing
shit.
that comes up. Look, you also look again, not a nostalgic person, but it's the thing that comes up in wrestling that is to drive success and drive business and to
Yeah.
drive change. You need to push young guys, and that is obviously fundamentally true. But
Yes.
also, doing nostalgic stuff and doing these sort of things can also help and can
Yeah.
also teach fans about older wrestling, and you
Right.
can apply it into your modern booking or modern stars.
Mhm.
Hey, if we look the AEW thing with Taz, I was fine with it being online. I could see the argument of being on TV because there's also a thing of like
It was his decision. That's what matters.
if you teach the audience about who Taz is, it makes Hook more
Yeah.
interesting to a certain degree, right?
Yeah. And Hook sucks. So that's true.
So and it's the same thing we're almost going to have to do with AJ Lee of like we're going to have to remind people of like look,
Yeah.
this is like we said the proto women's revolution wrestler,
Mhm.
the pioneer of that sort of modern super modern era,
Movement and stuff. Yeah.
was with AJ Lee. So it's like we have
Yeah.
to teach people on these sort of things, and if they don't do it,
Because
that's not going to be a good thing.
it's always funnier when WWE has to do it because they teach everyone the opposite for so long because they're angry at the person.
Yeah.
So now they actually have to teach them the truth, which again is right. Like they also had to reteach people, like, oh, right, CM Punk was actually a very big deal. We tried to say he wasn't for, like that's always funny when it happens to WWE.
Yeah.
So I
My
did want
look,
to bring, I just want to say this
sure. I
in
also
terms
have
of
a thing I want to
nostalgia.
say, but go on.
Okay.
We're gonna fight for this.
So
Let's say at the
just
same time, actually.
I don't think that's gonna. It has nothing to do with what you're gonna say. This is just a, for instance. Let's just imagine there's a day that Bailey left WWE, right? What's the first fucking match she's gonna do?
Yeah, she's gonna go to AEW probably,
Yeah,
and she's probably going to wrestle. I mean,
team or wrestle with. Either way,
team or wrestle with Mercedes for sure.
right? That'd be the first
Probably
thing she'd
team.
do.
I would do. I
And
would do team first.
I would too, and that's nostalgic, and that's cool, and that's
Hmm.
what I would want her to do.
Yeah,
Again,
that's because that's also the
nostalgia.
expectation at the same time.
Yeah, right. Like that's just my point. Like nostalgia is seen in very different ways, but at the end of the day, like that
You
is
know,
the history of pro wrestling.
nostalgic is seen in the sort of way of if I don't have any nostalgia for it, it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
That
Or
that's
yeah.
how I feel. I think if you're a big ECW guy and you're upset that Taz didn't get the shine,
Yeah.
then
Yep.
that's because you liked ECW. And I don't have any sort of nostalgia for ECW because I didn't grow up. I wasn't alive when ECW
Right.
was. I was 1, 2 years old when ECW was getting pushed up. That was the thing
It's
I talked about in the ballot with Sabu. Was like, look, I
right.
have no like I didn't watch Sabu growing up. I never knew who Sabu was
Mhm.
because I was either not born or a baby, a literal
Right.
baby.
Right. That's a
Um,
great point though. Like nostalgia just comes for fans of different of what you watched at the
mhm,
end of the day. It's
mhm.
why for AEW fans, you watch Hangman Kenny and the Young Bucks face off, and it's like, oh my god,
Yes,
like
the
it's
AEW
fine.
fans are more nostalgic for that than they are, I would say, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
Yeah, because that
Now,
happened
that
in a
is
different
obviously still
company.
very much exciting. I'm
For
not saying that
sure.
it's not exciting or not nostalgic for other people, but I'm just
Right.
saying of the AEW fan base, they are more interested in like the early
I
days.
mean, guys, TNA is booking the Hardys versus the Dudley Boys. Like, okay, you want to talk about bad nostalgia?
Yeah,
Like, no one
yeah.
asked for that, but they're doing it.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
So, like, there's just this. It's just a funny topic that I think this week a lot of people just get mad about because you don't have nostalgia for AJ Lee, which is fine.
Mhm.
But like, a lot of people do, and a lot of wrestlers do. So just like, let it happen.
Yeah, if it's nostalgic for people, then that's great. It might not necessarily be for me, but it's not a bad thing. And I think ultimately, especially for AEW or something, I think there is an open. To me, it's like I think there was an openness where you could have had a Taz bit on TV,
Sure.
and I also think if you did that, then the opposite group of people would have been mad about airing that on TV. Where anything AEW does would have been wrong,
Of
in classic
course.
fashion. But it's the sort of thing of like, look, by not having it on TV, the Taz didn't want to take the spotlight from other younger stars, which should be the philosophy and the push
It's
that
his
AEW really
choice,
needs
man.
to change. And it was a good call, but you could have him on TV and be nostalgic and represent Taz, especially in 2300 Arena. Put together why being in this arena is important, especially for this company. Why this sort of history and past is important to people like Tony Khan, even though he said it a bunch of billion times. To me, there's a little bit of nailing of over hammering the head here,
Mhm.
which is obviously the phrase everyone uses. Um, it's just this thing of like, look, I think it's just when it's nostalgic for you, it's a good thing, and when it's
Yep.
not,
Always.
then whatever. Then
Al
it shouldn't
always has
exist.
been the truth.
Yes.
Always has been the truth. I'll just point this last thing out, then we can move on. Um, Taz is only 6 years older than Adam Copeland. Thank you.
My God. Oh my God, that's genuinely crazy.
I was just wondering because of like the way Taz worded it, and then like how we just talked about Edge and Christian team. I was like, how close in age? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's crazy. Not that again, I have no problem with Edge and Christian being a thing against FTR. That's a match. That's probably like the biggest match they came back for, truthfully.
100%.
And it's happening. So like, and it's happening in Toronto. Good. That's where it should happen. You
Yeah.
know, if it's gonna matter, it's gonna matter there.
Yeah. Well, let's stay with the women theme. Let's go to Stardom. Stardom.
To the
Let's
world.
go to the Stardom to the world with Stardom to the world. I said it too many times. Big time Yokohama Budokan show. 1800 1814 in attendance for this show. I think I saw somewhere
Sold
that
out.
it was sold out for what they set up.
Sold out.
So
Yep.
so great for Stardom. Obviously, the trends continue for Stardom. Um, before we really move on into the last three matches, which were the last three matches I watched, Scotty.
It's
Uh,
wicked funny, by the way.
mhm.
I just want to say this. Thinking that this company and New Japan are owned by the same entity.
Yes,
What,
yes,
like, just the opposite, just the absolute opposite. And I think that kind of goes for Puro versus Joshi right now, overall,
yeah,
truthfully,
yeah.
in
I
terms
agree.
of uh overall interest and attendance numbers and things like that. But it's just extra funny because while New Japan's still the biggest, like that's not
Hmm.
up for question. It's like everything they do is like what the frick, and everything Stardom does is like, wow, look at that, another big shiny number,
Well, I mean,
which is
Scotty,
great.
look, I don't see.
I also would rather watch Saya Kamatani over Zack Sabre Jr. Yes, I agree.
Well, look, I'm not seeing Starlight Kid pop up in a video game movie from the '80s. So
That's
that's
true.
one thing. That's one thing
That's
that Stardom
true.
doesn't
Should have
have.
kept the world title on him just for that.
He shows up in the movie with the world title.
By the way, kid, you brought it up. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
That is the wildest cast
it, it
of all time.
I that is probably the most stunt casted movie I could ever think of. And there's a lot of stunt casted
You
movies.
see like Jason Momoa, Roman Reigns,
Hiroki
Andrew Schultz, Hiroki Goto,
Andrew Schultz is fucking crazy.
Eric Andre.
What is Eric Andre and Andrew Schultz even doing in this film? Are they
I don't know, but
fighting?
the fact that Hiroki Goto's in the same movie as them is fucking hysterical.
Yeah. Who else? What was it? Peck? What's his name?
Josh?
Uh I forget who the freaking guy's name is. The guy that wears the mask, the little country singer that wears the mask. 50 Cent's in here
Yeah, 50
as
Cent
well.
is in
Can't
there.
forget that. I think it was
It's
a
really
Dove
funny.
Cameron. What the
You know
heck
what I
is
think
it?
my Dove Cameron's in this?
I think that's who that is.
I haven't heard that name in years. What
Yeah.
I think what's funny about this movie is just like seeing like actual movie heads react to it for me. It's like, because you and me are like, holy shit, Hiroki Goto's in this movie, and everyone else is like, what is this cast? What do we do? Oh yeah, Cody's in this movie too, by the way.
Yes.
Wow. AW couldn't get a wrestler on here. New Japan did.
Well, yeah.
Who would you have casted over? Like, who could we send instead of Andrew Schultz? Literally anyone.
Well, I looked up. I saw like a photo, and someone said that they believe Andrew Schultz is playing a guy named Dan, and I'm like, who the heck is Dan? I just have to look up who the heck.
Who the heck is Dan?
Oh, he's playing Dan Hibiki. Interesting. Oh, I mean, I don't like Andrew Schultz, so it's not like I'm really
I
doing
think it's
anything
just crazy that like we need a Street Fighter movie.
here. I know. This whole thing is kind of dumb.
I blame Mortal Kombat for having movies.
Do we know
At least
who?
like they have like character.
Do we know who is? We have to know who's directing and writing this movie. Directed by Tao.
A24.
Oh, is it? I would love if it was distributed by A24. Paramount is distributor.
Of course, I was kidding. That would be incredible, though.
Kitao Sakurai is the director. What has he done? He's done work for the Eric Andre show. All right, that explains that.
Now it all comes around, baby.
He has directed episodes of Twisted Metal, which my wife and I are watching right now. I did a movie called Butterfly that came out this year. Bad Trip, which was a Eric Andre movie that came out on Netflix a couple years ago during the pandemic.
Oh, this movie's gonna be bad.
Yeah, screenplay by Delan Moosin, who wrote the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, Captain America: Brave New World, famously good movie, famously great movie.
This movie's gonna be so bad, it's good though.
Yeah,
like. Usually you watch it and be like, holy shit, it's Hiroki Goto.
This is his third movie he's written.
I'm fucking amped for it. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Hope they just do a bunch of like the fight scenes, like this video game style exact, like side by side.
Yes.
Like going back and forth, that'd be hysterical.
I need to see someone beat up a car, ultimately.
Yeah, I agree. Hiroki Goto.
I don't know if anyone's playing E Honda, but they need to beat up a car. That's all I'm saying.
I think someone is playing Honda.
Oh, Hiroki Goto.
We're locked in.
Locked in. Kyle Mooney is in this movie. What? What is this? What is this movie? There's no way.
We're doing a review on here.
There's no way.
We gotta do a review on here. There's too much wrestling involved.
Yeah, and by the way, that last little bit on this movie, you can tell who is a WWE fan and who is a wrestling fan by the reporting of what wrestlers are cast for this film. Like anyone that was like, oh, Cody and Roman are in here. They got wrestlers in here. I'm like, yeah, they got others. Do you know who they are?
You know what we haven't considered though?
What's that?
What if Hiroki Goto wins an Oscar?
Well, I think The Rock. There's a chance The Rock beats him. So.
No, there's no way. Hiroki Goto's beat him to that punch, no doubt. I'm watching Peacemaker, by the way. I don't want to hear a single word about, The Rock's better than John Cena. Shut up.
No one's seen the movie. First off, no one's seen the movie yet, other than like film festival.
By the way, 15 minutes standing ovation is bullshit.
I ignore those sort of things.
Buddy, I couldn't give you 1 minute of ovation before getting pissed off that I'm still standing and clapping.
Yeah. And also, those things are also skewed because it's like if it depends on how many people are standing and who you're
Imagine if they didn't. Like imagine if like half the people got up and then like everyone else like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like they just I hate that. I hate the ovation thing.
I think the ovation stuff is it's
now,
not.
It's also looking forward to that movie.
It's not a barometer at all if a movie is good.
Right. I just like the report that came out after the standing ovation. Like The Rock's gonna pick movies for his career now and not to make money. And I was like, what?
Do you know what? I don't know if it's the exactly next movie, but I know it's around the corner for next year. Do you know what the next live action movie The Rock will be in? Probably after The Smashing Machine.
Moana.
Moana. My wife worked on it. I know for a fact it's coming out next year.
Yeah, like
Do you
it's
know what
Moana.
movie he is currently filming? I don't know if anyone knows. I haven't signed any NDAs, but I just know that's happening. Another Jumanji.
Oh yeah, like come on,
This
man.
the idea that this guy is going back into these like A24 type movies, not going back, going for the first
Again,
time, is
I hope
not
the movie's
consistent
great.
because he has two blockbusters already in production or in
I hope
post production.
I do hope the movie's great because it looks good.
It
I
looks
do.
great. I
It looks
definitely want
good.
to see it.
I do too, and I hope Brock has a good performance. Like
Mhm.
the way he should look at it is, oh, I had one great performance. I don't need to do it again. You know, like
I think he is.
yeah,
Undoubtedly, I think he is.
like I don't know. I don't know if you've ever did you watch Peacemaker season 1?
No.
Oh, well you should. Um he's very good. Like Cena's very good
Mhm.
in this role. I can't believe you didn't watch season 1. Why didn't you watch season 1?
I don't know.
Well, you
I think
should.
I was interested in watching it at
It's
one point,
really
and then
good. I
I
really
just
like
didn't.
it. Um, I've been watching that, and I've been rewatching Stranger Things because that's finally coming back out. And
Remember- Millie Bobby Brown
has a child.
is married and
Yeah,
adopted a child,
yeah,
and she is playing a what 15-year-old or whatever.
yeah. Now, I just want to say this: I rewatching the show. I'm on the last season before the last season. I still understand the hype. It's so good. Like I'm watching through it, I'm like, right, this is why we're all angry that like they take so long to make these seasons because it's actually good. It's not
Yeah.
like bad. It's like one of those 50-50 things. Would you rather them rush it and the CGI look bad and all these different things? But still, like they've taken years. Like,
Yeah.
all right, pick up the pace a little bit, buddy. Like I understand the back and forth on that. This is so off topic. We were trying to go to the world and instead we went to
To the
the
films, to the
cinema.
movies. We all went to the lobby. We all went to the lobby.
I'm shocked you
And
don't sing more. Like I feel like you would break into song way more on this show than you actually do. And you don't. Like I feel like you naturally do that. Just
yeah,
like based on things we say, like there's a lot of opportunities to just break into song.
yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Well, we'll find out if that becomes a consistent trend with me. Anyways, should we talk about Stardom to the world?
To the world.
To the world. So I watched
You were
the last
asking me a
three.
question before I cut you off.
Yeah,
Like
I watched the last
10
three
minutes ago.
matches. Basically,
Yeah.
my question was, Scotty, was there anything important that happened before the last three matches?
No.
Was there anything good?
The opener was nice. It was Rena versus the Rookie was fun, but no,
Mhm.
you can literally skip everything else.
How
I
was
will
the
say this.
Ozaki Tora match?
Well, I hated it, but that's because I can't stand watching Ozaki wrestle. She,
Mhm.
ugh. Like
So you talked about in the preview of there being this sort of heel
yeah, the
face
crowd had
dynamic.
no idea what to do, dude.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, they were pretty into it. You know, they're like, "Yeah, Rocky bad," and then like halfway through the match, they're like, "What are we supposed to be cheering for?"
Mhm.
Like everyone's cheating. Everyone's cheating. Everyone's healing it up, and I'm like, "That's the problem. That's the problem. It's always the problem." And
Mhm.
then like it just ends, and it's like, "Oh wow, Tora needed hate to cheat and beat a 50-year-old woman. Nice, great." That was successful, and I was just sitting there. I was like, you know, sometimes partnerships are an okay thing to pass up. This was one of them. This was one of them.
Well, then let's talk about the first title match here. There's three title matches, three main events if you were in America.
Yeah, in my opinion, they went in order from best to worst.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. We'll start off first, obviously, with the IWGP Women's Title match: Suri versus Suzuki. You said this was the best match of the three. Scotty, why was that?
Because Sairi's really, 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 really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
pretty much.
that's usually the reason. I don't know how much more I could sit here and praise Sairi as much as I already do. I don't think there's a person in the world that might praise her more than I do, but I'm gonna do it anyways because that's what I'm here for. she's just phenomenal, and her match structure and the way she builds these things up are fantastic. She gets the loudest reactions in Stardom by far. Like, this match had the most fan interest from start to finish. Like, the crowd was just in it, cheering for Suzu. You finally got some breakthroughs of Sari chants. She's winning people over. And they just hit each other really, really hard for 20 plus minutes. Like, I don't think you can ask for more from a IWGP Women's Title match than what they gave you, quite frankly. Like, yeah, I think, there's always the nitpicks or whatever, but like the last half of the match is just so good. And Suzu has really found herself again this year, which is really nice, because I did worry after last year maybe she just was kind of like, all right, I've accepted my role. But she's really stepped into a match like this, absolutely crushed it. One of her best Stardom matches, Suzu's, which I think is important, because Suzu has a lot of great matches, obviously, but I think it's one of her best Stardom matches. A great performance by her. I think they really enjoy working together, and just like the way, I think the way Sari kind of like crushes the dreams of the fans in the ending stretch is always very exciting, because like Suzu creates a lot of intrigue by kicking out and avoiding, and then she just gets crushed. And it's like, you just hear the crowd deflate in all the best ways, because they can't stand. But then you have the fans that do love Sari that are in there now. And I think it's just like, it creates this awesome atmosphere that I think is building to her and Saya, which it has to be. Otherwise, I don't understand what we're doing. Like, it is booking malpractice, especially if Sari's willing to lose, to not book that match. And I've watched Sari do business over the past, she's been back since what, 2023?
1, 2, 3?
23. I watched her do business over the past 2 years. She's cool with losing to the right people. Very much openly so. I can tell you right now, Saya Kamatani is among the right people that should definitely lose to, and it'd be the biggest match in Joshi. So I think that's where we're building.
There's also an argument of Suri being the one to like defeat defeating Saya Kamatani.
I think if Stardom can make that happen, for sure.
She's the right person to for Saya, like, to put over Saya Kamatani. But at the same breath, it's also like, well, maybe taking a break from Saya at top as champion just to give her a breather and give it to Suri. It's like, yeah, that could probably also work,
It would. And I'll talk about more of that later after the main event, because I do think we are on a very, very, very clear path right now. But yeah, this was great.
Really solid match.
I enjoy what these two do. And between this and not B, I was happy.
Yeah.
I didn't watch this live because I have a job now. So
congratulations. This is
it's just I need to make money. So like I work. I work a couple hours here and there.
The sketchiest description of what kind of job Scotty does is, I work a couple hours here and there.
I'm not gonna. I just don't want to say it on here. I don't need people finding me. But
what is that? Are you running for public office? What are you talking about?
God, no, that'd be terrible.
You're running for your local election.
But my point was that I didn't watch this live, so I watched it after the fact, which is very unique for me. I never really watch Sari matches after the fact. She's usually like the one person I go out. If it's a big match, I'll see her live and I'll see Mai's match live. I couldn't make it happen. My point was, though, is that I tweeted like, there's just no way anyone reacted as loudly to any match on this show than this one. I was correct. I just winged it, but I got some comments and they're like, how did you know that? I was like, I just know how Stardom crowds work. Like they're quiet for the weirdest things and they're loud for the person they can't stand, which is funny. But yeah, it was great. And great start to, this show is the 3 matches, and them going first set the bar.
Exactly. As we all sort of expected, set the bar. Next match here was Wonder. I don't know why I did that voice. Wonder of Stardom.
I
don't know.
That's how we're doing it from now on. They set the bah. Oh, we have fun here, folks. Oh God, I don't even know why, but you did it, and we ran with it. The next match is Starlight Kid versus Tomoki Inaba, by the way.
For the Wonder of Stardom title, this match, Battle of the Legs, Battle of the joints, the
yeah.
knees.
If you don't like leg work, you're not gonna have a good time here.
Yeah, I thought this match was really fun. It was really great. I thought the leg work, leg submission work was very solid. Starlight Kid, Tomoaki Inaba, two people awesome, I really enjoy. Another great match for the show.
Yeah, Starlight Kid has been a fantastic Wonder of Stardom champion. Really right the ship for that belt. Yeah. After very bumpy, like 2 years, really, dating back to when Mina won it. CMLL's Mina. So like it's been great to watch. Giving Inaba the opportunity was something I was always hoping for. She's great. She's very different from a Stardom wrestler. The way she's trained and the way she wrestles, very, very methodical in her wrestling. Like the way she uses her kicks, I think are really smart. Like crushing Starlight Kid's leg one time, and I was like, fuck. Yeah. Like this is one of those. I love the way she wrestles. Yeah, this was really, really good. And like the back to back of these two, and I was like, and B's in the main event. Which I'll say this. I think for B, she did a good job.
I was going to come on here and say that. It's like, look, obviously I didn't see much of the 5-star this year. I didn't really have any real desire to watch B Priestley stuff in the 5-star this year.
Lucky.
And also your lack of recommendation for B Priestley were very evident.
This was easily her best. This was
I imagine this was probably her best.
Yeah, she did a good job. Yeah, there's a few points with B where it just doesn't look good. Like some things she just did in this match, and you could tell they're a little off. But she did it really good.
Yeah, I was thinking about it while watching her match that she was sort of like one of the last big non-WWE stars pre-AEW. Does that make sense? Like pre 2019, like she was one of the bigger like international stars.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Obviously in Joshi.
She was doing the New Japan stuff, obviously too. I want at one point with Will.
Yeah. So she was like one of the bigger stars in terms of that international Joshi women's scene. You can throw in like Tony. Yeah. You could throw in Tony in terms of like England and stuff, but it's like, and then AEW comes around, and then everyone has to start getting signed up and all these sort of things. And like we talked about in our preview, B Priestley gets signed up during the pandemic.
World champ.
Eaten up, chewed up, spit out with 2 knee injuries, I think, and nothing much to show for it. Other than that, she got a stinking T-shirt out of it, of course. Performance Center,
as we all have to do.
But yeah, and now she's coming back here, and it's like, look, I think the 5-star is probably a little bit of like trying to figure it back out again, and I think this match was it a great match? I think there are moments where it teeters into that, but it's not necessarily fully a great match. The is
very good.
The double foot stomp, I think from like the
on the apron, that was nuts.
Onto the apron was nuts because she like over jumped and landed on like Saya's hips instead of her back.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then Saya fell backwards, and I was like, that looked brutal. But it's moments like that where it's like, oh yeah, that fucking ruled. There's other moments where it's just sort of like it's a little sloppy and all these sort of things.
She has her moments.
And look, if you want to tie it into like the beginning with like AJ Lee, it's like a little bit of like, look, this roster, time waits for no man. Bea Priestley, AJ Lee. AJ Lee's a decade older. How is she going to look? Recover from injuries, all that stuff. Right. Bea Priestley, she got a major injury. It's been 5-6 years since she's been in this company, and the rosters has changed in both WWE and obviously in Stardom as well.
Right.
That the level of wrestler has developed significantly in this company as well. How is she going to float? And I think here she did a good enough job that like, look, it's not where she once was, which I think is a fair, but I think for where she's at now, this is probably the best you're going to get, and that's
Mhm.
fine and doable, honestly.
She was in there with the right person to get her to this match. I
Yeah.
think I don't talk about it enough, probably because I think everyone else does, so I don't feel the need to. But Saya Kamatani's obviously been excellent,
Hmm.
and there's a reason she is the star that she is. Um, I think for B, the mix of having to follow the previous 2 matches in terms of excitement levels
Yep.
just naturally,
Yep.
and also facing someone in Saya Kamatani who B is supposed to be the baby face, but it's you can't be with
Yep.
Sai, and I think she kinda realized that rather than trying to fight like the babyface she did in a lot of the tournament, she was just like, "I'm just gonna wrestle like I used to,
Yep.
and we're just gonna do that." And, they built to some good moments, some good kickouts, Queen's Landing, which, of course, is the Ocean Cyclone Suplex, which was a great that's what she beat her with the first time, so it was a great spot of, "Oh, is she gonna beat her?"
Hmm.
And overall, it's as good of a defense as you're gonna get out of B. Priestley in the year 2025. Like, I quite think Saya got the best match she's gonna get out of her. The best match B's been in, since returning, and B's gonna be around, so, like, you kinda wanna see her do that. I think she's gonna be better off doing the tag stuff, right? Because she
Yeah,
doesn't have to do as
probably.
much. She can hit her big moves and such, but
There's still like a really great wrestler within B Priestley. It's just like it's been covered up in so much muck that it's
yeah, she also
you
doesn't have a
see that.
character.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
That's
that so
hurting
much
her a
so
lot.
much of her end of Stardom run there was like the vibes that she was
The
presenting.
Yeah, she was
She had, as
the
the kids would say,
really the
major
heel.
aura.
Yeah. She needs a faction, she needs a character, she should be a heel, things like that, but, I honestly think B's gonna work herself into a contract again with an
With
AEW.
American company.
Yeah, like, I think she can work herself to that
It's
in
not a bad
time.
idea, legitimately.
Like, if she has a good year,
Yeah,
right? Next 365 days. I don't take it out of the question that, like, there could be a way to make that happen. I think we're all grown adults here. She's also still young. She's only like 28, 29. So, like,
29. 1 year difference between her and Saya Kamatani.
yeah, like that's that's a big deal. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to take that out. Like, if you told me next year Bozilla and B both sign American contracts, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, Bozilla's gonna sign one, but um I don't think B's like totally out of the idea of going back to America in
Yeah,
any way, shape, or form. But I think this is good for her. Reestablish yourself, refine yourself. If Stardom's going to give you the contract, you take it, which
of
she did.
course.
And yeah, I'm happy for it. But of course, after the match is kind of the main talking point I think now from the show. Um,
Yeah.
Azumi challenged her, which I was hoping for.
Yes, Azumi
Um,
Azumi challenges Saya Kamitani for the Wonder of Stardom title. However, instead of it just being for the Wonder of Stardom title, not
yeah.
Wonder, World of Stardom title, my apologies, it's going to be for the New Japan Strong Women's title belt.
Yep. So
We're
both belts.
combining some titles after you and I just said what happened to the New Japan Strong
Yep.
brand.
So both belts are going to be on the line
Mhm.
at Corkin, which is awesome.
Which is also
That's gonna
hilarious to me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, I okay, so Stardom doesn't have another true pay-per-view until November. So I was wondering if they just put this off or not. Happy they didn't.
mhm,
Because I think Azumi's best in Corkin. I think
yeah,
that's when she wrestles her very best. There's some people that just wrestle better in different types of venues. She is someone
we
who
talked about
wrestles.
this with Sammy Guevara last week.
Yeah, and I think she's a like the ideal you watch the match with Bozilla that she had, obviously. The match her and Saya had in the tournament was fantastic there. I'm very excited about this match. Obviously, there's a history. It's Osmi's first World of Stardom title match. But
Mhm.
yeah, the most important part here is that I think we are combining the World of Stardom, the New Japan Strong, and eventually the IWGP Women's title all into one.
Mm. Do you think this
I
is so to go tie it back to the Suri point? You think that this is not only we're combining the New Japan Strong Women's and the World of Stardom, but this is the precursor to probably, let's say, All Star. I always get them confused.
Stardom Dream Queendom.
Stardom Dream Kingdom.
Either that or the other pay-per-view. Well, either one at the
But
end of the
let's
year.
just I would say the December one. That's the bigger
Sure,
show. That's the bigger match.
you would hope so,
I
yes,
would
that
like
you
I would
put
like
the
to think.
biggest match in the
But
biggest
if
show.
this is the precursor to get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's where we're going. I mean, I have long been convinced that one day the IWGP and the world would be combined.
Mhm.
I didn't see a world where they would both exist forever.
Yeah.
And now we're on a track here where you can put 3 title belts on Saya Kamatani and then eventually put them all into one if you want to. Like, I think the New Japan Strong is disappearing as it should.
Yeah.
And maybe you just morph that in the IWGP, but I think this is the path to get there no matter what. And it's through
A new
Saya
Triple
Kamatani.
Crown has been born.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it, don't make a brand new belt though. I think the IWGP is a beautiful belt, so like just keep that one if we're gonna just combine them all. But yeah,
There's there's also a chance, Scotty, that like they get rid of the World of Stardom title belt and it's just the IWGP
yeah,
Women's.
that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
Because New Japan now owns Stardom. Like,
Yep.
Stardom's under it. So I kind of have expected that. And if that's the case, okay, sure. Maybe you turn into IWGP World Women's title to
Which makes
symbolize
sense.
it. Yeah, you don't have to make a new belt to symbolize that, by the way. You can literally just call it that and no one will
Yep.
bat an eye. But yeah, I think that's kind of the path we're on. I think it makes a lot of sense. Because there's just a lot of needless belts right now. Like the New Japan Strong Women's is obviously needless. And then you build up Saya Kamatani even stronger, which I think for them, you keep riding the wave. I've said this so many times, but it's like until otherwise, there is no reason to go away from Saya Kamatani in any way, shape, or form. She
Mhm.
is the number one star in Japan, it feels like right now. Let
Yeah.
alone like she is very, very much open about I want the pro wrestling MVP award. I don't want the women's one, I want the MVP one.
Mhm.
And if there was ever a year for her to make that case, it is this one. Because there is no super duper clear New Japan wrestler in that conversation. Goto will be in the convo. I guess Zach will be in the convo. And then Ozawa will be in the convo.
Yep.
But she's right there. And I think like if they want to, or if they have an inside track here, maybe they want to celebrate that at Stardom Dream Queendom with her holding up 3 titles and standing tall. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. And I it's hard for me to argue against any of it, so I'm not gonna, because again, you're gonna need someone big to pay off beating Saya Kamatani in the end.
Mhm.
But until then, keep riding the wave.
Yeah.
Stardom, stay hot. And by staying hot, it includes her being champion.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Um, let's move on and talk about Marigold. They have their big Dreamstar Grand Prix finals next week. I believe they have one show left.
It happened today.
Okay, perfect.
So I have
Well,
all the standings correct for you.
okay. Do you want to send that to me real quick, and I'll run that through you since you'll be more on top of Marigold
Yeah.
stuff. Just put it in the
I'm
chat
just
real
gonna
quick.
give you the 3 that are still in for
Yeah,
each.
that works. That works. So yeah, Marigold, they've been having their Dreamstar Grand Prix, the round robin tournament, like all these other companies. Beginning of August up until September. Their finals are going to be next week on the 14th. So obviously, stay
Yes.
tuned for that.
Do you need the cards for that?
If you got them ready available,
Yeah. I'll just send you
I would
this link.
appreciate it. But yeah, so the current standings as it follows in the well, I have to ask this
Dream
question
League is
before
the
we move on.
first one.
What is the post tournament out? What is the tournament look like? Are we doing a mini tournament at the end? Is the top 2 winners? How are
Oh
we?
no, it's old school 5-star
Please,
where
please explain to me what
you
is
it
happening with this show, with this tournament.
it's old school tournament round robin. If you finish at the top of the block in points, you go to the final on that
Perfect,
night.
perfect.
So it's old school Stardom type.
Well, then perfect. Well, then I'll go through here real quickly. Dream League, and you can maybe do some shout outs, and then we'll talk about the final scenarios. At 9 points, we have Utami Hayashishida and Victoria Yuzuki. At 7 points, we have Mayu Utani. At 6 points, we have
She's at 8. Sorry,
Mayu should be 8. Yes,
she went
you
up
should
to
be.
8. She went up to 8.
At 6, we should have Koki Amare and
Everyone else is eliminated.
Yamaoka,
All these
of course.
people.
I was reading the rest. Maria is 4, Ryo Sato is 3, and Chiaki is 2. Any thoughts on Dream
She's at
League?
3 now. That was
He's
the
at 3
match
now.
that got
What
updated.
are you doing over here, Scotty? You give me a link and it's got
what
all
it-
of.
Oh, well, I sent you the points before that. I just sent you the link for the matches on the last day. I did
Fair
not
enough.
send you. Dylan doesn't update that. He stinks.
Dylan, I know you're listening. Scotty says you stink. On the record. What do you think about what do you think about the Dream League half of the tournament so far? Or not so far, but the tournament, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Victoria Yuzuki has been the MVP of the tournament in my book, which is both pretty incredible considering her experience. She's gotten the best out of every single one of her opponents. She is not even 2 years in yet. She is celebrating that in October or November. But there's a reason that, when she made the jump from Stardom, that people said this is probably the biggest deal until Mayu jumped, obviously. But this feels like the biggest deal because her future's so bright. I can tell you this, Ryan. There's no person that I think has hurt Stardom more leaving in terms of just internal than Yuzuki, because they believed in her. She won the Rookie of the Year for a reason, all these different things. And then she said, see you never. Yeah, and she is proving it. And I think she has been as good as advertised. Mayu Utami's found her rhythm that I've long been waiting for. She's really found it, which has been fantastic. Her versus Mayu is the match of the tournament. So the big match that, on paper going in, and the Korakuen main event was excellent. They're on a nice little run too. I think they have 4 or 5 straight 1K plus Korakuen crowds now in a row. So as I was talking about earlier, like with Joshi, things are going very well. Obviously Stardom's at the top as they should be. But like you're watching a lot of good numbers. Sendai had like almost 4K in Sendai like 2 weeks ago. So like again, a lot of people doing a lot of good. And Mayu's been Mayu. It's kind of what she does. It's just like a lot of these wrestlers are new wrestlers for her. I think the one non-finalist per se, as in competition that last night, that's what we're talking about, Suri Yamaoka. I always sing her praises, but I'll sing praises for Ring Post Radio fans who may not listen to everything I do.
Is
which
the
the
rookie with the singlet and the cool pin attempt.
Yes, the super rookie. Yeah. She is so good.
I see clips of her all the time on Blue Sky.
Yeah, I love her as a wrestler. I think she's like, there's few people I will defend more than Suri Yamaoka because I think there's just so much potential of where she's going and what she has. She's had a really good tournament for it, 1 being her first and 2 still figuring out who she is as a wrestler. She's very hard on herself. So like, I think seeing her have her moments is always so great. She pinned Mayu. She's the only person to pin Mayu. So obviously that's a big thing. But I'll just set the Dream League up here to make this easy.
Well,
I
can do it for you real quickly. I can read the matches off.
We'll do it separate. So feel free to read the matches. I'd probably go bottom to top though.
Well, just real quickly for clarity, we have 2 9-pointers with Utami and Yuzuki.
Yes.
Yuzuki is leading that because she has the pinfall victory over Utami as well. And then obviously following up is Mayu. So that's kind of the top 3. And I think for what we're about to say, the next person up is probably Koki Amare, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see where this...
Her and Seiri are... Koki beat Seiri. So
Koki would be in 4th, I guess, technically. So Dreamstar Final is in Korakuen Hall, of course, on Sunday. The matches are as follows. We have Maria versus Chiaki, a battle of losers. You have Sari Yamaoka versus Rhea Saito. Probably not going to
It'll
really
be
do
a
much,
good
but
match for the
nice little
young
match.
crew, but I
Exactly.
don't think they'll get a ton of time.
Utami Hayashishita versus Kokiyama Ray. So basically a match that like, hey, Utami, you win, you're in. If you lose,
Well, no,
you
actually, if she
could get
wins,
in.
she's not in.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
she has the edge, technically.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just realized because I also thought that was true. Like I thought, the drama of that. But if she loses or draws, it leaves the door open for Yuzuki. I mean, if she loses, Yuzuki's in. So
Yes.
either she's going to a draw or she could lose because then it would just be making Yuzuki versus Mayu the match to decide who moves on. So she could lose.
Yeah.
With these, I think she's going to a draw or losing that match. That's always been as world champions do
Mm-hmm.
in tournaments, they don't win.
Yeah.
So I've always seen that match as the spoiler. I think it would be perfectly fine to do it either way if you want Utami to give Koki a big win. Koki's, trying to still find her way after the torn ACL. As most people would do. But Utami's someone that she's very close with, so if anyone's going to bring out the best in her, I think it could be her. But
It's
yeah,
also
I
like a way to give Koki something,
yeah,
in terms of
mhm,
booking.
out of this
Um,
tournament for sure. I think ultimately what this is setting up is Yuzuki versus Mayu to be the end all be all decider.
Yeah. Yeah. So
As it should.
then obviously the other match here is Mayu Iwatani versus Victoria Yuzuki, where that has a bunch of other implications. If Mayu wins, then it's like then
If Mayu wins,
she's at 9. She has the victory over
she'll be at 10. Because that she's at 8 right now. Yeah.
you're right. She would
Yeah.
be at 10. Utami would have to lose
Draw.
ideally.
Right.
Ideally
She have to
lose,
lose to be out. Yeah.
but she could draw, in which case they would then draw each other out.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And Yuzuki's out. If Yuzuki
I
wins, Yuzuki goes up to 11 and would
am
ultimately
in.
need Utami to lose or draw,
No,
basically.
Otami can win and it wouldn't matter because she beat her.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So
So
Yuzuki,
Yuzuki's winning,
you
you're
win, you're
in.
in. You win, you're in
Yep.
for Yuzuki. Mayu, it
I
depends on Utami.
I think what's going to happen is that Yuzuki and Mayu are going to go to a draw,
Ooh, okay.
and Yuzuki advances to the final.
Okay.
Because I know how Rossity books enough to know he is not wasting Mikilano versus Mayu Iwatani in his final unannounced. That is the biggest Marigold roster match they have.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to save that. They're going to put that in a box and put it over here. And you're going to elevate Yuzuki to the next level by having her make the final. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And if
Pretty
she goes
significant,
to a
by the
draw with
way.
Mayu,
Yeah.
massive deal.
Yeah. I was going to say pretty significant because then she would have a win over the champion of Utami Hayashishita. And then, in your scenario, either a win or, which would be even more impressive, or probably a draw.
The only reason I have a tough time her beating Mayu is because I've seen every Mayu versus student story.
Mm-hmm.
Mayu has never lost. She never lost to Tam.
Mm-hmm.
She never lost to the Starlight Kid.
Yep.
I think they're gonna save that for an eventual moment. But for now, you just do the draw of wow, she did it, she survived type thing. And I think with the drama of the idea that the winner moves on works. You
Yeah.
put her in a draw, she survives Mayu, and you keep Mayu strong obviously as well because Mayu is going to have a massive match next month no matter who it may be against. So I think that's part of it too, but I think a lot of people should be excited for whatever Mayu has coming up. Just saying.
All right. So the next group here, which
let me send you the full. I'm going to send you the full.
I believe it's updated on Wikipedia, so I got the Wikipedia thing.
Okay.
So on Star League on the other side, you have just double checking real quick. Yeah, it's all that looks all correct. Miku Ano at 9 points, Mai Sakurai with 8 points, Mirai and Nagisa Nozaki at 7 points. 6 points is Misa Matsui. At 5 points is Chiaki Goto. At 4 points is Chanyota, and at 2 points is Kazumi Kazuna Tanaka. What do you think of Star League?
Star League has been kind of just the Miku Ano show for the most part. You know, she wrestled the first night, then had to pretty much wait a month to get back into tournament action, just the way the schedule made up. But it's been the story of she started off 0-1-1. Now she pretty much has to win out to win the block, and now she's at the top. My Sakurai's done well. Mirai's done pretty good. I think like the Matsuis and Chikagotos and Chanyotas and Kazunas kind of have had the matches you want to see out of them at this current stage of their career, so that's always good as well. But this is a one match decider. This is they put all their eggs in one basket here. Winner of Miku versus Mai Sakurai moves on, and Mai Sakurai has never lost to Miku Ano. That is your story. Mai Sakurai took the belt from Miku Ano earlier this year. So I think, you kind of write it back. And Miku gets the win and goes to the final. And as she should. She's kind of been the one. She had that match with Nanai to retire Nanai Takahashi. And I think that told you all that you need to know in their belief in her.
She's getting pushed hard.
Yeah, she's getting pushed, and she's going to be your next world champion.
Yeah. Other matches here, obviously, are Mirai versus Chanyota, Misu Matsui versus Nagisa Nozaki, and Kazuna Tanaka versus Chiaki Goto. But yeah, that big match here is Miku Ano versus Mai Sakurai. Basically, is going to be the block decider here. It sounds like you're saying, that Miku Ano is going to win Star League, and it sounds like you're leaning towards Yuzuki probably winning Dream League. So you're looking at a final of possibly Yuzuki versus Ano. Which one are you going with? The person that's getting actively booked, or the person that has a win over the world champion, and also a probable either win or draw against their teacher? Which is those are two things of, do we want to give her a third? Not
You're right.
Wrestling doesn't really like to do that.
No. I think it feels like Miku Ano's win and has since the beginning. I go with her. I think she's the one that beats Utami for the title at Sumo Hall. And it makes all the sense. Sometimes tournaments have the predictable winner. This is one of those times, and it's the right time to do that. She's always felt like the winner. The way she's been built through this tournament has felt like being built to be the winner. And I think she will do that. She beats Mai Sakurai, beats Suzuki. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for it. I think Miku Ano is someone that she gets enough eyes on her, will be a big time fan favorite the more this goes on. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that'll be a great final. Obviously a big challenge for Yuzuki, right before her second anniversary. Hey, let's have you step into the final of the big tournament. But hey, I have watched how Rossi is booked for years. He is not afraid to believe in the new young talent and see what they can do. So this will be just the start for Yuzuki, I think, in terms of this Dream Star success. And yeah, I'm into that as a final. I'm into that final day, and I'm looking forward to it. So should be going next Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah,
so stay tuned for that. Next Sunday, we'll certainly be talking about it. Maybe a little bit later in the day, probably maybe still in the morning, I think, Scotty, but maybe
I should be fine to do anytime.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, then let's go and close things up with the N-1 victory, which starts tomorrow. I'll have the blocks with you in a moment, and obviously the opening round matches here. But yeah, N-1 victory, Noah's tournament here, as all these other tournaments wrapping up to a close. N-1 is about to begin to go into your fall lineup here. The blocks are as follows, Scotty.
Are you excited for the N-1?
Or
is that why we're having this discussion right now? To see if you are.
A little bit of yes to the both. I think I am figuring out if I am excited, but I'm leaning to yes, because Noah has been like on a solid tear lately, other than the Kenta Marufuji match. For obvious reasons, but that's more of a disappointing thing than anything else. They've been on good tear. Obviously, they've been I was thinking about it. Like, they might be my like third or fourth promotion of the year because
They've had a lot
obviously
of
what they've
success.
because like CMLL is like probably number one. And then it's
Yeah.
from there. It's like, do I give it the WWE? Do I give it the? It's not. I don't. Is it AEW? I don't know. Like, I don't. I don't know. Like
Is
AEW
it
might be third or
TNA?
something. Underneath Noah or someone underneath Noah, fourth or whatever.
I
But
mean,
it's
if you
just
want
sort
to
of
talk about ticket success,
yeah, like with ticket success for Noah, it's like this year has completely turned around business wise for them. Maybe not completely turned around, but largely turned around business wise for them. They have
yeah,
a young new star, Nozawa, that was a massive ticket draw that had a lot of fun matches, one match or two that annoyed the shit out of me, but a lot of fun, really great matches. And then you shifted over to Kenta, and he's doing really good stuff too, other than one match of Marufuji, which kind of just fell apart for
that's not
obvious
his
reasons.
fault.
Not his fault. He basically admitted it as such as well. So I think it's like I think like I am excited for the N-1. I think I'm more excited for it last year, but I just think it's again it's Noah. So there's always these sort of chances, like any of these minor promotions, that shit will go wrong or the booking will be wonky or all these sort of things. So there is an arm's length for me, but it is like, look, they have been good pretty largely all year. So it's like, I'm probably excited for this N1. Do you have any vibes? I guess we can go for the blocks and see if you have any vibes.
I just want to say, I think Noah's kind of been the best Puro company. So in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah, that's probably true. All Japan has not
consistency,
done well this year.
All Japan stinks. Could close
New
tomorrow.
Japan at least has had Goto and had some.
Yeah,
I
they
think they
had
had bits
Goto.
here. They
They
had bits and bobs here and there.
Here's the way I look at it. And
Takeshita.
this is how I look at a lot. This is how I look at wrestling companies as a whole.
Yeah.
Every company has a certain level they need to be reaching. It's why it's hard to compare them all,
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people just think everyone needs to be the same level. For Noah, they have exceeded all expectations coming into the year.
Especially as of last year.
Right. New Japan has not. Like, plain and simple, what their expectations are, we're the best company in Japan. We need to always be the best. For Noah, it was like, can you just not lose me? Can you not lose me, but can you build?
Can you have
And they've
consistency a little
right,
bit?
and they've done nothing but build and build and build and build. I
Mhm.
think the same goes for, someone like, CMLL is the end all be all right now in terms of ticket sales. Like, you just look at them. It's something I do a lot because I look at so many companies and just the Joshi sphere and what they're supposed to look at. But if you look at it in terms of just the world or just in the Puro scene, Noah couldn't do more than they're doing right now in terms of success. It's the most success they've had since Muto retired.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And I look at these blocks. My vibes are we'll see, kinda, because there's a lot of change.
Mhm.
Like, I don't I don't know a lot of my feelings towards a lot of this because so much is different from even a month ago. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like, Masakita Miya's heel, Kenta's world champion, um, so many different things. But I think I'm excited for at least some of it.
Yeah, that's how I'm kind of feeling is that like I said, there's a little bit of an arm's length just because like historically
Yeah,
with
I'm not
Noah.
gonna watch every match, God no, but
Sure, but it is this thing of like, look, I think they could pull it together. I
yeah,
think they could get it together and have a good show and have something of notably of worth that I will be interested in.
yeah.
And
They
I'm
they
excited to see it
also
put it together there.
they're following to me the Dream Star method of the winner feels very predictable,
Hmm.
right? And I think we all agree it's probably Ozawa. Um, but that's a good thing. How does he develop through this tournament, and does it feel right when we get there?
Yeah, and there's obviously the sort of heel face dynamic that's that's with part of the Ozawa thing as well. It's like, will there be developments there? Let's go through the blocks. Block A has the champion Kenta in it. It also has Kaito Kiyomiya, Manabu Soya, Ulka Sasaki, Kazuyuki Fujita. I'm glad he's popping back in. I can't wait. Tetsuya Endo, Masa Kiyomiya, and Daga. Any vibes on that first block?
Fujita's gonna manage to have like the worst match of the tournament and the best.
Yeah.
That's
can't wait.
Like he's not gonna give a shit when he faces Tetsuya Endo.
Yeah,
but
well, let's go through. Who do you think Fujita is going to allow anything from? Kenta, yes. Gotta be yes. Gotta be yes, right?
That might be it. Ulka Sasaki, maybe because he's legit.
Ulka Sasaki has a legit background. I think Fujita is willing to play ball.
Everyone else, not a fucking shot.
I can see like,
maybe
Kitamiya or Soya just because of other big guys,
Yeah. I mean, I
Daga
think he'll have
is gonna get fucked up, dude.
Dude, that's gonna be the best 3-minute match by far. He's gonna run through him.
Yeah. Daga is not gonna have any wiggle room with.
Shout out Fujita for getting back in here.
Yeah, shout out Fujita for sure. But
yeah, I think overall.
Yeah, I think Kenta Kiyomiya obviously is very interesting. I mean, Kiyomiya in general is going to be very interesting. He's had a sort of a down year to a certain degree this year. So I think that's going to be very interesting.
I like his matches with Ozawa though.
Yeah. Oh, I did as well.
I thought he got the most out of Ozawa.
Soya and Kitamiya in here are going to be fun. I'm interested Ulka Sasaki just in seeing his growth. His last year was like fine and solid, but I needed more. And I'm hoping a year later I get a little bit more. So we'll see how that all plays out. I think it's a solid block, I guess. Block B is Galeno, Naomichi Marufuji, Kano, Daiki Inaba, Jack Morris, who's still around despite rumors, or maybe because of rumors. I don't know.
It's his last one.
Harutoki, Ricky Knight Jr. from Rev Pro, and of course Ozawa.
This block sucks. This is terrible.
Yeah, this is the block that has all the international folks in it, and by international folks, I basically just mean Ricky Knight Jr. because Galeno is, even though he's international, he's in Noah. He's the GHC national champion.
Yeah.
Marufuji, after that Kenta match, I'm not jazzed to see what he's going to do in here.
He should not be in this.
I mean, Kano is
a geek.
Probably the best wrestler of everyone here.
Oh, I don't even think that's a question, dude. It's not a like Daiki Inaba is like third or second.
Because it's probably Ozawa next.
Yeah, and then
Jack Morris. I'm not going to write him out. He's had a really good last year. He had a really good year.
Okay, name all the memorable matches from him this year.
Not a lot.
Shout out Omos though. Remember when they were tag champs?
Yeah, of course I remember that. I'm saying that like Jack Morris has had not necessarily a great year, but not a bad wrestler. So it's like, he's up there with the Kano and the Ozawa in here. He might be above Daiki Inaba. He's probably above
third place is just muddy. I haven't watched Jack Morris. I'm gonna give Daiki Inaba the thing just because I saw a tag match with him.
Fair enough.
Recently, and he was good. So
yeah.
He headbutted Segura and it was sick.
I haven't seen Galeno in a while as well, so I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know where Galeno is either. I think so. Keno is in my favorite Noah match of the year, so that's a good sign.
Right? And is that the Kenta match or the Ozawa match?
It's absolutely not the Ozawa match. Let's not.
I think they were both really great. I think I went to Kenta, give the edge to Kenta match.
I think the Ozawa versus some of these guys might be the worst time ever. So I'm not going to watch it just because his match style against like Ricky Knight Jr.
I'm not excited. There is. I can't think of a single match with Ricky Knight Jr. I'm interested in.
Is there a single match that Ricky Knight Jr. gets you excited? No.
There are matches with Ricky Knight Jr. where it gets the Ryan Knightsy. I'm morbidly curious.
Yeah.
Like, look, Jack Morris and Ozawa, Ricky Knight Jr. obviously in England. Jack Morris is in the area in terms of being Scottish. So he's certainly in the area. There could be something there. Ozawa did his excursion in Europe. So,
He
like,
did?
again, it's like he probably has history of Ricky Knight Jr.
Sure.
So
What
it's like
not?
there's like stuff there where it's like, yeah,
I
maybe. And then outside of
I
that, it's like, you want me to get excited for Ricky Knight
yeah,
Jr. versus Galeno Del Mal? What are we talking
yeah.
about here?
I'll say this. I am interested to see what Haru Toki does. This feels like a nice development guy that they've signed.
Mhm.
Um, obviously he beat Go to get in here, so they have high hopes. Also, I miss Go being in the tournament, but I'm happy he's not, so he can stay around and stay healthy. You
Yeah.
know, because I love Go Shiozaki. Dude rules. I watched that tag match that you said last week.
Yes.
That guy fucking rules, dude. Like Go Shiozaki, just stay healthy, man. Like
Yeah.
you're still so good. Give me him and Kenta, then he can just move on. You know, like he will do whatever.
I really wish he has reached old man Go
Oh
stage.
yeah, but
And
it's
it's like,
awesome.
oh
Dude.
darn. I just wanted a couple more years. Just a couple more
Yeah,
years
but
of
Go
Go.
old man Go is very smart. His body's just so broken down,
Mhm.
so he can't like. I mean, he wrestles about 20 times better than current Marufuji. So
Yeah, that's
there's that.
true. That is true.
I do want to say this. I want to shout out my friend Xavi at Xaviism XAVII 3 eyes SM because he watches Noah, he loves Noah, he is covering this tournament,
Mhm.
writing. So go follow him if you're interested and want to see what's the best matches. He'll be keeping track, he'll watch everything, so we don't have to. So I just wanted to shout him out because he's usually what saves me from watching something bad. I'm like, hey, is this worth my damn time?
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see his reviews for Ricky Knight Jr. because he hates him. Uh, he hates Ricky Knight Jr. So I'm sure that Ricky Knight. Oh my God, Ryan! Imagine how bad Ricky Knight Jr. versus Naomichi Marufuji is going to be.
I think that's a match. I don't know if it'll be bad because I think Ricky Knight Jr. is going to try really hard. You know what I mean?
That doesn't mean that's not good though for Marufuji. Like him trying really hard turns into an absolute mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched it with Kenta. Actually, I
Yeah.
shut it. I watched clips of it and I was like, oh, I'm not. I had it written down and I was like, oh, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
I hope Galeno's good, by the way. I
Me
don't
too.
know what he's at in development. But I'm intrigued by him. This block.
Let's do. I got some quick. I got the opening show, the final match, the final show, and the there's nothing really at the finals, but there's a junior tag title match that looks interesting. So we'll talk about that. So the opening show, which starts tomorrow, of course, we have probably this is the order I have to imagine: Tetsuya Endo and Daga in the A block against each other.
Oh, that sounds terrible. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
I don't like to see Endo at all. So
He has hits and misses a lot for me.
I
Like
know a
he's
lot of
so middle of
people
the
like
road for me.
him, but like he's so athletic, yet he's so boring.
Yeah.
Like how do you do that?
We accidentally stepped into it this one, Scotty. The battle of the third best wrestler of Block B, Daiki Inaba versus Jack Morris. That's a Ring Post Radio stamp of approval of like check out this match just because.
That's gonna be a 6-minute classic. Second on the card of an eight match. Is it 8 matches?
Looks like
Hiromu's challenging for the belt on this show too, so
spoilers, baby. We'll get there. We'll get
sorry.
there. Galeno versus Harutoki and Block B
Sure.
action. Sure. Yeah, I agree. Block A action, Manabu Soya versus Masaki Amiya with a brand new picture. I haven't seen this picture before, and I'm genuinely shocked by it.
Heel Masaki Amiya is a beast.
Yeah, I'm definitely
He just looks like
that.
Kensuke Sasaki in full now. Like
Pretty
he just
much.
there's no hiding it anymore.
I do not like the singlet though. I will say I do not like the singlet at all on him.
Yeah, you like seeing all of Masa. I get it.
We're gonna get the as much as we can out of Ricky Knight Jr. early. Block B action, Ricky Knight Jr. versus Kano.
Well, if he's gonna have a good match, this will be the one.
Exactly. Block A, here we go. Kazuyuki Fujita versus Oka Sasaki. Yeah, baby.
Oh, boy, that's gonna be
dipping in hard for that one.
Fujita is going to lay on the ground the entire match.
I can't wait.
Then get up and punt him in the head.
and I can't wait. And you know what? I'm gonna give it 5 stars because it honestly deserves it. What do we have next? Here we have
Well,
Block
I watch
B.
every Kenta and Kazi.
Oh, Scott, are you still there? You froze up a little bit. I don't know if people can hear it, but I can't hear Scotty. Scotty, are you there? Well, I'll just keep going because Scotty seems to be frozen. Let me just chat real quick that he's frozen on my screen. All right, so Block B action, we have, oh, there he's on. Ozawa versus Naomichi Marufuji. Look, again, you want to get the best match out of probably Naomichi Marufuji. You get it out early with
I'm
Ozawa.
back.
He's back. You were going to say something about something. He doesn't remember.
I think if I'm going to watch anyone's full tournament, it's going to be Kazuyuki Fujita and Kenta's.
Yeah, that's probably fair. That's it. Well, fair in the sense that it's crazy, but that's the kind of crazy that we do here on Ring Post Radio. Next up, like I said, Block B action, Ozawa versus Naomichi Marufuji. I think similar to Ricky Knight Jr., it's the sort of thing of, look, you get the most out of Marufuji as you can with that. You then have the GHC Junior Heavyweight title match. Yohei defending the title against Hiromu Takahashi. Very interesting match here. Very intrigued to see what happens. So we will see what happens with Yohei versus Hiromu Takahashi. And then finally, in the main event, obviously this is going to be the most interesting match of the entire card. Kenta versus Kaito Kiyomiya, A block action, main event matchup here. What is this? What building is this, anyways?
I'm fully
Cork and
back
Hall.
now. Finally.
Cork and Hall. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Do you have any quick thoughts on Kenta versus Kaito Kiyomiya in the main event, or the Yohei versus Hiromu Takahashi GHC Junior Heavyweight title?
That main event rules.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think Hiromu's winning the belt.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
He's Hiromu and he's Yohei. That combination tells me that Hiromu should win.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, you want me to use reason? I'm using reason.
Hey, look, I don't blame you. All right, so we'll quickly go off into the final night here of regular block action. This is, where are we? The Toichi Light Cube Arena, I think is what it is.
That's a
classic building for tournament matches here. We have Block B action, Daiki Inaba versus Haratoki, match that won't matter. We have, I doubt this is in order, but it is weird. But I doubt this is in order because I doubt this will be the next match. Jack Morris versus Ozawa. That really reads to me like a block decider.
Yeah.
Plus, obviously, Team 2000X guys going up against each other. That really reads like some sort of something.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So I'm gonna be honest. I lost connection. I have no idea who you're talking about.
Perfect. I don't think this is the order of the show.
Ozawa?
Next match was
Morris,
Ozawa versus Jack Morris.
Jack Morris got kicked out. So
when did he get kicked out? Last I heard, he was still in.
He got kicked out right before the tournament.
Oh, maybe that's why I haven't heard of it yet.
Because Masa Kitamiya joined.
Oh, you're right. So, well, then even then, you have Team 2000X stuff of guy who just got kicked out versus guy who is the leader. And plus, with everything that's happening with Ozawa, this really feels like a block decider for Block B.
Yep. Ozawa wins, baby. Here we go.
Block B action. You start off strong, end in an interesting spot here, Scotty. I can't imagine you're excited for this one. Naomichi Marufuji versus Ricky Knight Jr.
Oh,
not gonna matter, but just I don't know.
So wait a minute, hold on. Ricky Knight Jr. is getting Marufuji when Marufuji's most beat up. Yes. Oh, good.
Yes,
that is going to be so bad.
Yeah. And then the final Block B match here is Galeno versus Kano, which, look, I think it also has a chance to be a block decider with the champion and Galeno and Kano, obviously. I think it could also be
Yeah.
a future setup challenge for Kano versus Galeno for the belt. So we'll see what happens there.
I agree.
You agree? Perfect. Block A action. We'll move right along. Kazuyuki Fujita versus Masaki Amiya. I mean, yes. Yeah, big yes. Next is Manabu Soya versus Oka Sasaki. That's fine. Fine. Daga versus Kaito Kiyomiya. No. No.
Okay.
I can't. I'm
But
not. No.
that is Team 2000X keeping Kaito down.
That's
Type
true.
beat.
That's true. That's
Again.
true. And this is going to be an interesting one where we get a bigger conversation here. And then the last match for Block A, Kenta versus Tetsuya Endo. What are the block deciders? Who's winning Block A? Kenta versus Tetsuya Endo, Daga versus Kaito Kiyomiya, Manabu Soya versus Oka Sasaki, and Kazuyuki Fujita versus Masaki Amiya, which certainly is not going to be a decider, but like still, it's like what are the deciders? Who's winning Block A? And I think Scotty has frozen once again. So I will try to answer my question. Scotty might be done for the episode. We're almost wrapped out. But I'll try to answer this question. I don't know. Kenta versus Endo seems like some sort of block decider. If Ozawa's winning, it might make sense winning block B at the very least. It makes sense for Endo to win because that's also the theme here of guys who got kicked out of Team 2000X. He would have a win over a champion probably if Kenta, so that's interesting. Then you get Ozawa winning. Kaito feels like a block decider in a weird way, but again, I think that is, to Scotty's point, Daga is not an interesting person, but by the Team 2000X connection, if Kaito wins, it's him beating a Team 2000X member and overcoming that group. There's a good chance the finals could be Kaito versus Ozawa. It could also be Kaito or Endo versus Ozawa. Kind of leaning to those two
group
as being the last two bit. What were you saying, Scotty?
Endo left the group, so I could see them again.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like Jack Morris. It's like in the same way that like Kaito's being kept down, Endo left the group. That might be too similar of a story against the Jack Morris stuff. So I don't know if you want to do it again. I wouldn't, but
I wouldn't either. But it's the Ozawa tournament, so
exactly
telling that story is probably very important to them.
So, yes, we'll see what happens. The finals of the N-1 are going to be in Korakuen Hall on September 23rd. Obviously, the finals of that are going to happen there. But outside of that, there's also going to be a JC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match with Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf versus Kai Fujimura and Alejandro. So that should be a fun spot fest of a match that I'm very excited to see. So that's the N1. We'll talk about it a little bit. We probably don't talk about it again until the finals. So I guess we'll wait up until then, when are the finals? The 23rd. So those are in 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. So we'll probably not going to talk about it until the 28th. So I'm going to make just a note.
And this damn recording. I am fighting for my life here. I have a storm outside, and that's why I keep losing connection.
Oh, perfect. Well, then, Scotty, give us some plugs. Give us your match of the week.
Yeah, baby. Okay. YouTube.com/@ScottyWrestling. You kind of talked about it. But with the Dreamstar stuff going on, I finishing that daily review series this week, which I'm looking forward to. I've been debating, this is just me talking out loud, but I've been debating
of N1 daily coverage.
No. I've been debating actually ending my Joshi podcast and just doing full YouTube moving forward.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I think it would be easier for me to just do a show review, spur of the moment type, and more timely than just keep with the podcast. That's just me talking out loud because I like doing the YouTube stuff. It's shorter, it's easier, it's more enjoyable. So that's just been something I've been thinking about. And because now that I work and do other stuff, it's like, can I make time every Thursday to record for an hour? It just, I always knew I was gonna have to cut something eventually, and maybe that's it. Because I have a lot of ideas more for YouTube than I do for a podcast where I just talk about weekly stuff. So that's just me thinking out loud. But I trust all the Ring Post Radio people here. I love you all. So thank you for letting me vent.
Do you upload any of the I'm trying to think. do you upload the YouTube audio to the podcast feed, or did you keep it purely
Yeah,
separate?
yeah. So it's on both. So like the
Okay.
video is on the channel, and then the audio goes up. To me, I just think it's a matter of, do I want to just be off podcast feeds? Because ultimately, it's like that's really the decision. So I'm gonna kind of like question people, like, "Oh, would this really affect you much, or can I just go full YouTube?" Because I like doing,
Yeah.
like I said, I like doing the YouTube stuff. That's why I like doing this show, because I just show up, record with you for
It,
fun for
it's
2 hours.
it's almost like you need some sort of producer on the back end to handle that aspect of taking the audio and uploading it
Oh,
to the
someone.
podcast feed.
Well, yes, someone does that for me for the other one. I think for me, it's more the weekly
Yeah,
have to do
of
it
course,
rather
of course.
than the more freely, like, I could have done a Stardom to the World review last night, called it a day,
Yeah,
right? Like, I could have done that. And I think I prefer that because I'm more interested in reviewing in the moment than I am for, we do our weekly podcast, and, like, to me, that's different because we cover so many different things, so it's a
yeah.
little more unique and fun for me. But yeah, I was just thinking that out loud. I wanted to share that with the people. If you want to, you can go on Fightful.com. I had some more comments from Sari, because that's what we do here. Um, I'll have more this week too, probably, because she just had her big match, so we'll probably work that out. Really weird that that's my thing. Now I said out loud, but
You're
that's what
her
we do
American
here.
spokesperson, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I am pretty much. Um, it's pretty cool. Anything else? Anything else? No, just Dreamstar, that, and my, you know what? I'll say this here because I do have the idea. I just haven't fully developed it. I do think Stardom Road's gonna come back in some form though. So despite
Woo!
despite a potential end to my weekly Joshi podcast, that wouldn't end my weekly coverage of Joshi. You just
Yeah,
end my have to do this. But I would make up for it with, maybe the return of a bi-weekly, monthly, whatever that may look like. I haven't figured out all the details. I'm just trying to finish these damn tournaments still.
yeah. You
But
got to get
I
through the
have talked,
tournaments first.
yeah. I have talked to Ryan about it. I think
Hmm.
some form of Stardom Road can come back, and it will be, in combination of count out, my YouTube. It will be fun.
Yep,
Because I know a lot of people like that. I like going back in time and doing things. That's
yep,
more fun to me. So we're gonna work that out, see what that looks like, see what a new version of that looks like.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's
And
something to look
we'll
forward
have
to.
more news to talk about that figured out, because I imagine
Yeah,
there might be a little bit of like backlogging as well that could be done
yeah,
there. So
right. Yes,
it's a little bit of like we'll when we get closer to like announcements of there, we'll let
right now I'm trying to
finish the tournaments.
backlog. Well, yeah, but I on a separate project, I'm trying to backlog a lot of Stardom's history
Yeah.
right now, which is impossible because it's not all in Stardom World. So if I can, I want to put it all together
Hmm.
first before I jump in. So like I just don't have to find stuff. Be like,
Exactly.
oh, I have this idea, and then be like, oh, I can't find it. Good talking to you.
Hmm.
So like that's a fun aspect for me too. But let's do match of the week, huh? Let's do match
Yeah,
of the week.
baby.
Ooh, what are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking?
What are we thinking?
I've talked about pretty much everything that I've seen, so that's tough. I watched something from AEW finally this week. Oh wait, no, I didn't. I had the idea of it, then I fell asleep. That's funny though. I had all this determination to catch up this week, and then I didn't. So I'll actually go from the Dream style, keeping it all in one. Victoria Yuzuki versus Rhea Seto was really nice from the
Oh, there we go.
Shinjuku Face show. So young Marigold highlighted. I was actually gonna say John Cena versus Sami Zayn, but the ending pissed me off, so I'm not gonna give it any
Fair.
fucking
I think
there,
that's probably fair.
because that was a lot of fun, like just seeing a John Cena TV match against Sami Zayn. But fuck them. They don't get that. They get that credit. So Victoria Suki versus Rhea Seto does. That's it. I got nothing else to say. Before I lose connection, I'll kick it over to Ryan, who's been obviously doing. Hey, you know what? I actually have a question for you
Uh-huh.
that goes hand in hand with your many plugs.
Uh-huh.
When the hell is the Hall of Fame? Like
Ooh.
when does voting start?
I don't know exactly. I think last year he dropped the ballots in October, but
Okay.
he has dropped them as early as September.
Okay.
So We'll see. I haven't heard or seen anything about any sort of Hall of Fame
All right,
stuff.
yeah, because
But
like
that's
I feel like you're the only person that talks about it,
at least in your
right? Because
circle.
like, yeah, well, for sure, I know people talk about it, but like to the point of like keeping me like locked
Aware.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, I thought about it. I was like, September. I feel like we should almost like be to the conversation point, which
Yeah.
is always really my favorite time of year for historic stuff because I like that. But I actually have all of your episodes downloaded for like when I have to do stuff so
I,
that
I
when it comes around I'm gonna re-listen to some
I have
because
thought about whether or not people will do that. I was like, obviously because we've had people listening throughout the year, but I
yeah,
had the thought recently of like, I wonder if there will be like a massive download spike of like in
yeah,
the
like
next month or so.
if I'm you, once the ballots are announced, I just keep fucking sending that shit out. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you're wondering if this person should be a Hall of Famer? Well, good news for you. You know, that type of stuff
exactly,
all
exactly.
over the blue sky.
And I,
Because I
by
think
the
that'll be
way,
good for you.
pray to God that Dave sends them out in late October because I got 2 episodes left to release. That like, Dave, I just need you to release the voting after October 8th. That's all I pray. That's all I want.
Well, for you, I think it's more you just needed them to be out before it ends, before
Yes,
voting ends,
yes, and
right? That's
yes,
more important.
exactly, exactly. I think like last year wasn't it like last year like
They gave it a long time. It was
it
like
was
a
like a
month.
month or 3-4 weeks or something like that.
It was a long
Um,
time because I remember I got one midway through the voting period and
yeah,
then was like, "Oh shit, I gotta send this in."
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Vote for
No,
Io Shirai. That's all I
yes.
gotta say.
So yeah, the ballot. Speaking of the ballot, my podcast, my show, there'll be a new episode of the ballot this Wednesday. In fact,
Haha, I knew
Scotty,
it.
not recorded yet. I'm recording it in 50 minutes. So I'll be recording that very shortly. With talking about the ballot. That one, not a Scotty interested special podcast probably, because we're going to
It's
the
about World
world
of
of
Sport.
sports,
I
Scotty.
fucking knew it.
We're gonna be talking about Steve Gray. Steve Gray, a very, very great wrestler. A very great babyface wrestler. At one point in time, tag team guy with Big Daddy in up in England. So we'll be talking about Steve Gray. My apologies. And I will have my guest on in about 49 minutes at this point. At the point of hearing it, I'll already probably record it, but I'll be talking, of course, with Tony Earnshaw. He is somebody, he just wrote a Hall of Fame article piece about Steve Gray with a lot of good little tidbits in there. So I'm going to be speaking with him about Steve Gray on the ballot this Wednesday. There was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, yeah. And then I have my other guests scheduled for the last episode, which will be October, regarding Masaki Mochizuki. And I have that scheduled, but you know me, I don't like to talk about things too much unless if things fall through. But I'll talk about Tony because it's happening very shortly, and he hasn't made any message of like, hey, I can't do it. So knock on wood, or we should be good to go.
That would be
So
tough.
plugs for me. Match of the week, I'll just say the main event of Dynamite, the 8-man multi-man all-star tag match thing was pretty fun. Follow us on social media wherever you get Count Out. Don't follow me on social media. Follow Scotty on social media. Subscribe to the Count Out YouTube channel. Subscribe to Ring Post Radio wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe to all of our podcasts here on the Count Out Network, Count Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Next week, Ring Post Radio will be back probably at our usual time.
Stack show.
What's that?
Stack show next week.
Stack show. We're probably going to be reviewing Worlds Collide, maybe reviewing the new AAA Mega Champion,
Yeah.
Dominic Mysterio, reviewing Dreamstar Grand Prix Finals, previewing AEW All Out and WrestlePalooza, and the CMLL Anniversario show. I don't even know if I have time for all this stuff, but we'll figure it out next week.
The previews will get all the time. Triple I might.
Triple Out is cutting room floor, probably cutting room floor.
We didn't preview it for a reason.
Yeah. So that is what we're going to do next week. So until next week, everyone have a good rest of your day. And of course, enjoy your Taco Bell.